This is a test. This station is conducting a test of the emergency broadcasting system. This is only a test.
Welcome. This is the Jeranism show.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. This is the Speaker's Corner, where we speak truth, seek truth. Speaker's Corner, yeah, they see through, we see you. Speaker's Corner, where the people get to talk, where real ideas and thoughts spark. This is art on the Speaker's Corner. 3 minutes hit the spotlight. Speaker's Corner, where 3 minutes gets your mind right. Speaker's Corner, where the people get to talk, where real ideas and thoughts spark. This is art on the Speaker's Corner.
What up, what up, what up in a world? What up, fam? That's my Austin impression. Welcome to the show, everybody. It's time for episode number 28. 28 of Speaker's Corner. We are live. This is the 26th of January, 2023. Believe that or not. Moving right along. Let's bring you aboard. Make sure we're all ready to go. I believe we are. Yes. Beautiful. Let's start out with something real quick here. Let's remind you of some things like my hats, shall we? Get yourself one of these very cool... Oh, maybe I should go this camera instead. Get a very cool Fake X beanie. Get a very cool NASA going nowhere. Going effing nowhere hat with a Fake X on the back. What's cooler than that? The answer, nothing. The answer is clearly nothing. Let's check out what you can get. Get the hat, free shipping in the United States. Get the beanie or the hat or the combo pack. And you be supporting the channel and you be my best friend. So anybody who buys a hat becomes my best friend for 13 seconds. So it's pretty cool. I mean, that's worth the value alone. All right, we've got StreamYard open. If you want to join us over there, you're going to do what I say next. Let's get this up here. Yes, there we go. And let's turn this down a little bit more. There we go. Beautiful. All right. So if you want to, we'll get these out of the way real quick. And no, we won't. I lied. There we go again. Playing the NASA comedy music. Unbelievable. Don't play the next song in the playlist, all right? You know, you're like, it's a playlist, Jaren. That's what it's supposed to do. Yeah, well, not when I don't want it to do that. So we've got tons of ways to support the show. You can go to buymeacoffee.com/Jeranism. You see it there in the lower left. And if you do that, your super chat or whatever you call it will show up on the screen, which is very cool. Interrupt the show and everything, and I'll call you out. And then we've got patreon.com/Jeranism if you're interested in crypto. Although I talked to Owen Benjamin yesterday, who told me I should be in jail. So, because, along with the murderers and the rapists and the pedophiles and those offering crypto consultations. So it makes sense to me. Owen's on point with that one. And become a channel member so you can get all the back episodes. It's only $5 a month. And I believe you just go to youtube.com/Jeranism/join. Easy, right? Easy peasy. If you want to get all my links, the best place to do that is at sleek.bio/Jeranism. You get all the links there. That's kind of in the way there. We'll move that next time. We'll fix that. And then we've also got Cash App, $, and that's in the way too. Brilliant. We've got this all lined up perfectly, don't we? There we go. And if you want to join the show, as you should want to do so, that's not going to be blocked, is it? Thank you. tinyurl.com/cornerism. That'll get you into the StreamYard back room where we're ready. And then you can also call the phone line. Let me get the phone lines going. And then we're going to look at one little story first. Call in studio. And let's see. Did we put money on? Oh, wait. Maybe I didn't put my balance is 1 cent. Okay, let me see how long it will take me to reload this. It should be quick. My account, add funds. Do a little bit more of that. Do that. Okay. Get this going here. What? Sorry, so no, I thought that they had my credit card number saved in here, don't they? Why doesn't it say they do? Okay, 1 second. We got to put these numbers in here. As I got to put some money on the account for, I believe, this one. Yes, will work. Okay, we got that. Yes, address. Really? Okay, we got to do the address. Hope everybody's well. And what do we have coming up tomorrow? The Jeranism show tomorrow, 3 p.m. Pacific. Man, that seemed like it rolled around quick from the last Jeranism show. Saturday, we've got the debut of Iconoclasm. Whoa, what a cool show that's going to be. I'm excited about that. Being an iconoclast and going after the iconophiles. Can't wait. If you don't know what it means, look it up. It's a word that I can't believe I never knew. It is the smasher of icons, the smasher of whatever society holds dear. Which, what else do we do well? What is my zip code? Thank you. Appreciate that. And you're not looking at the screen, right? Last time I put my credit card number, I had to cancel my credit card and a bunch of shit. All right, let's submit this and see if it works. Go. Give me some money on the account. And they'll be ready to go. So if you want to join, jump on. If not, hey, Thursday can go to a different type of show. Let's go to my shows. Let's go to the show. Let's go to start the show. 2 callers max, that's fine. Start show. Start show. Like 18 buttons. Start show. Ready.
Ready to connect. Click
Start
connect to show now.
Connect to show. Boom. I knew it was coming. All right.
Welcome, host.
Hello.
You are
Nice to see
now
you.
in the host
Thank you.
room and can manage
you.
your callers
All
from
right,
the Call-In
appreciate-
Studio web interface.
Cool, thanks. Call me, 888-698-FLAT. We can also look at some text messages if we've got nothing else going on. Let me see. Oh, I wanted to show you this news story real quick first because, it's just for me, it didn't sit right. And people are going to say, oh, that's rude, Jaren, you're an asshole, and how dare you, and all that fun stuff. But I just want real stories. I don't want pretend stories. So this story here, and I was just like, you got to be kidding me. 13-year-old boy who was born without legs is now the star player on his basketball team. No, he's not. Okay, no, he's not. Can we not blow smoke up people's asses? It's not necessary. People are not stupid. Doug, you're going to buy 10 more combo packs. Knock it off. I want to hear it. Yes, Owen is right. Yes, I should be in jail. Yes. I mean, can we just all be on the same page that if this guy ever scores or does anything that people let him? You cannot be 1.5 feet tall and play basketball. So, just saying. I mean, it's cool if he wants to play. Let him play, I guess. But they're like, he made the team and he's the star player. And, well, no, he's not. He's not the star player. I'm just saying. Let's not. And then look at this quote here from this site. You would have thought Steph Curry was in the gym. Come on. Steph Curry, the guy without legs. You would have thought, you walked in and you would have seen a guy without legs and you'd be like, is that Steph Curry? Nope. That's our new star player. He
turnovers.
Just like Steph Curry,
He
though.
started taking the ball from people. He took the ball from me. I was mad. You would have thought Steph Curry was in
No.
the gym.
But his teammates say his best play
No.
was a couple weeks ago.
It was just a moment that I'm gonna remember for like ever.
It was the end of the game.
I mean, who's guarding this guy that he's able to get this shot off? He's down here. You got no guarding? And they make it seem like he's about to, but look at the score on the scoreboard here. By the way, it's 47-60. And I don't think that when you're 1.5 foot tall that you get 13-point shots. So, and they're like, the time is running down. Look at the clock. The clock has 24 seconds left. So what is this?
Shoots from 3. And again, his disability disappeared.
No disability. He's just won the game for the team, even though they lost by 10. And anyway, let's get over. We got phone calls. Let's go to the phones. This is good news. Callers right away. Let's get on over there. And that's not being rude. That's called being real. Okay, it's not being rude. It's being real. Oh, do we not have the Rokfin chat up? Where's Rokfin chat? What? Want to get the Rokfin chat up here? I don't see it there. Weird. All right, let's try it. Rokfin chat. I forgot to grab it. Here we go. Hello, everybody. Rokfin, how are you? 30 people? 29 people. I lost one. Was 30, and then they went 29. They got tired of the show. Like, we're not letting you make fun of short people. People without legs. How dare you? I'm not making fun of them, but I mean, come on. Mrs. Brother has no hand. So I don't think that he's the all-star player for the two-handed rock, paper, scissors championship. That's just, if an article said that, I would be like, bullshit. He's got one hand. You can't win that competition. It's just me. Just being real. Just being real. Everybody else, not being real. Being fake. And let's put this in Rokfin chat. Boom, 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 boom. There we go. And I believe we're good now. Is that going to show up on the main page? Yeah, there we go. All right. Let's get it cracking. And we're going to start out first with the phones. And we've got 267. You are on the air. Let's hope that this is working. Everything's good. Let's go.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi, Jaren.
Hi.
This is Sarah Breslin.
Hi, Sarah. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Fantastic. It's good to hear from you.
So, good to hear from you, too. Been watching you for a long time.
Thank you. I enjoy being watched.
Thanks for all you do.
Thank you. You're welcome. What can we do for you this eve?
So, I was calling because I was telling everybody that I was stopping to take Suboxone. So, it's been 2 days.
From
so
being,
I made it through the first 48 hours.
Nice. Okay. Good for you.
Yeah.
Are we helping? Is this show helping you? I would hope so.
Everything's helping me. You helped me with the journal. I've been writing it every day. So
good.
I really think that made a huge difference.
I'm glad to hear that. Awesome.
Yep. And I got nanosoma too from the Christian whistleblower.
Jeff.
I think that's helping a lot.
Yeah, I think so.
Yep. I got some grounded extracts coming because sleeping hasn't been too fun, but
Yeah, that's tough. Are you trying to take anything out? Like, what about like weed or anything like that? Can you do that?
Yeah, I smoke. Yeah.
Good girl.
That helps a lot, and some like RSO and stuff.
I would think so. I would think it would help a lot.
But it's like this whole week I haven't really slept too good. But I'd rather not sleep than take another one of those pills. So.
Yeah, it's catastrophic what they've done with the pharmaceuticals, for sure.
Oh my God, the
Yeah.
way I feel, it's crazy.
Yeah, and you'll probably be in a fog for a little while, but you'll be definitely better on the other end of it, for sure.
Yeah.
So
Breaking free from the handcuffs.
sorry, I was just reading in the chat. Somebody said he's the best player on the team, but I'm not sure he has a leg to stand on. That's funny. All right.
About the basketball player.
Yeah, let's give him a standing ovation, should we? All right, good. Sorry,
Yeah.
that's rude.
No, that's okay.
He's just not the best player. We could just say, honorary team player, honorary. They put him in the team was down by 13, so they put him in at the end of the game. He made a 3-pointer. The crowd went crazy. Let's just be honest. Not like
it's a joke.
And he won the game for his team, and he's the best ever. And he looks like Steph Curry, the best player in the NBA. He's almost the best player in the NBA. Anyway.
Yeah, it's a joke. My brother, it's like sports are his religion, really. It's crazy.
And Melodome wants you to check his Breaking the Chains playlist on his channel. Have you watched any of that?
Oh yeah, of course.
Okay, yeah. Gotcha.
I watch Melodome every time it's on.
How about that, Austin? What do you got to say about that? Awesome. Yeah, there's some good shows, and I just heard of some channel the other day, and now I forgot what it was. Oh, I want to see if my show actually shows up on it. So I guess there's a show or a website called flatearthtvguide.com. We're going to go there and check it out right now. Oh, we can actually show people because you're on the phone, not on camera. Let's see if it works. flatearthtvguide.com. Let's see if that works. Okay, and then you go to streams. I don't know. I heard him talking on Karen's show yesterday. I mean, the Karen and more streams. Womp 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 womp. I'm not on here. How dare them? How about under channels, Jay?
Is it YouTube?
It's like he's got all the YouTube channels playing, and I thought he said that when something goes live, I am live on YouTube, aren't I?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not showing up on here. I thought that because he was on Karen and Mark's show last night talking about it, and he said if you go there right now, you'll see that you guys are on because you're live. So I thought that it just picked up all the live streams, which it does, but it doesn't pick up this one, the one that we're on now. So early fail by the site. No, I'm just kidding. Hey, that's a cool logo.
Well, it looks pretty cool, though. Yeah, it does.
I like this little rotating clockwise sun and moon logo. That's pretty cool. So yeah, it looks like a nice site and well put together. It says select live stream to watch. So he's just got to add my channel somehow to it. But anyway, that's a great idea because if you're ever looking for content and they hide all of our stuff, so you could just go here and see what Flat Earth live streams are playing at the moment by going to streams, and then just remember that it doesn't include me. So until we get that fixed, and I don't even know who owns it, so I can't even reach out to them.
Awesome.
Maybe their plan is to call into this very show. How's everybody doing in the chat? We've got Mark here. What's up, Mark? And let me see if I can move that up a little bit. All right. So what else do you have for me? Sorry, I'm taking all your time away.
No, that's it. No. I was just calling to say hello. That was about it.
That's it. All right. Well, easy. Well, hello. Well, we
Want
wish
to
you the
send
best.
Love.
Say again.
Send love to everybody.
Please, yes, everybody. She sends love and send love her way so that she can get over these pills. That you're not the only one with a problem there. It's everywhere.
Yeah, it's everywhere. No.
Yeah.
It's crazy. That's all they want to shove pills down your throat. That's what everyone. When I say like I haven't been sleeping good. Oh, take some Tylenol PM. Take this. Like no.
Right.
I'm done.
Yeah, I haven't taken a
I'm
pill
done.
in it's like 7 years now. So
Oh
it feels
wow,
so much
I
better.
haven't taken a pill in about besides Suboxone that it was a
Right.
little dose, but I haven't taken like any Motrin or anything like that, and I'm not giving it to my children either.
Good.
Yeah, I'm
very
done
good.
with all that stuff.
Yeah, it's all just
Fine.
meant to mask things, and it's not supposed to help you at all. That just keeps you sick, masks symptoms. We should have known. We should have just looked at it and known that these guys have a business motive. So
Yeah.
all righty. Anything else?
I was
go ahead.
saying last week that my son, he had a cold, and I gave him nanosum and raw garlic, and he got better within like pretty much 2-3 days.
Nice.
He was 100% better. So
Yeah, we were both sick, Miss and I, but we just stayed in bed and drank a lot of water. And I do take, when I say I don't take pills, I don't want people to think I do take it's like quercetin or something with zinc, and I don't remember the exact name of it. It's whatever Avocado Wolf said on my show. But I mean pills like pharmaceutical stuff, not vitamins.
right, no, that's what I mean.
Yeah.
That's what I mean. Same thing. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So
We
okay,
should all stay away from them. Don't feed the beast, right?
absolutely not. Absolutely not.
Yep.
All right. Well, thanks for
All
calling.
right, Jaren,
Talk to you
much
soon.
love.
All right,
Have
you
a
too.
great rest of your day.
Peace.
Okay, bye.
All right, let's go back to the phones. We've got 305. You are on the air. 305. Welcome to the show.
Hello.
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 Hello. Who is this?
Oh, okay. This is Hank.
What's up, Hank?
Am I on the show?
You are on the show. You're live. We're on. We're good.
Oh, okay. Didn't sound like it. How you doing, buddy?
Doing fantastic. I was probably doing 3 things at once: trying to read a super chat, trying to listen to you, trying to fix my timer. So I got a lot of things going. Happens.
Life of a producer.
I guess so. Until I get my own. Yes.
Little by little. And look, I've been watching you for a few years, man. You're putting out great content.
Thank you.
I'm watching a lot of these flat Earth debates and stuff. You did a great job moderating that. It must have been hard to kind of sit on your hands and bite your tongue when they were going back and forth.
One of the harder things
it
I've
was
ever had to do.
entertaining.
Yeah.
Quick question: all these debaters that are on the side of the globe, they, I think there's been a few debates where they ask them, "What would it take for you to come to the other side or to consider our point?"
Right.
And a lot of them say, or that fight the flat Earth guy, empirical data measurements that show flatness. But nobody mentions the flat as a pancake Kansas study. Have you heard of it?
Yeah, I have. I think people get a little confused by that because, again, if you're talking to him about that, he would say, well, what they mean by flat is curved. So let's say that between California and New York is 2,500 miles, right? Well, let's say that it's as flat as could be. It doesn't vary by 1 foot. Okay, so it's flat the entire way, California to New York. There's no more mountains. It's just flat. Well, we would say, look it's as flat as a board from California to New York. Globers would come and say, yes, it's as flat as a board because it's curved 72 or 721 miles of curvature. They would just say, and the only way I could really describe it is if you went into a Home Depot and you put down a level, it would say it was level, right? On the floor. Well, now picture nothing but Home Depots from California to New York. Well, no matter where you walked on your way from California to New York, you would be able to put a level down and it would say level. So you would be able to say, oh, there's no deviation. It's less than 1 foot of deviation across the entire country. But they would say, yeah, but it's curving 721 miles. So,
how do they say that though? Like, I didn't read the entire study, but basically it says that the degrees of flatness might be described as mathematically damn flat.
Right.
Now,
because
I mean, there's 410 miles of length, I think, and I think it's like 200 miles wide in Kansas.
Okay.
With the calculations, there has to be some kind of round curvature, no?
I get it. What they're talking about when they say flatness is that it conforms to the curvature of the Earth. So,
well, then there's no winning a debate.
No, there's not. I mean, they've protected themselves well. I mean, really, this is the problem: is that they have an out for everything. Even though they can just say words, they literally now take a little dial on Walter Bislin's calculator and move it up or down until the item shows up on the screen as like, if I can't see Kanagawa, move the slider. Now I can see Kanagawa. They're like, see, that's why we can see it. You're like, what? That's not science. What are you guys doing? That's not evidence to just build a slider that moves anything that you can see in the distance into view. What the hell's that? So that's what these guys have.
And I thought that would be a good little thing to have in the back pocket. But has any of these guys who debate for the Globe, have they ever responded to that study? And that's what they say, what you just said?
Yeah, I'm positive that that's their position, but I haven't heard them necessarily say that. But I mean, it's their excuse for everything. I mean, it's the same thing with the oceans, right? We say, well, water lies level. Well, yes, to them it does too, but it's curved over a great distance. So again, everything is too far away to see, too far to verify. It's
must be
rude.
Nice.
Yeah, it must be nice. Well, that's why I said the easiest job in the world is to be a Globe proponent, right? To be a Globe pusher who has a channel who talk. I mean, there's no easier job in the world. You just get to say science.
Last follow up. I don't know how many minutes do I have. I don't know how long.
Negative 10 seconds. But go ahead.
Oh shit! All right, Mount Meru was great. I'll give you some feedback on that since you guys are planning another one. I attended.
Thank you.
I think the panel, a panel interaction was fun. Like I think you guys had Eddie Bravo. I think you had Benjamin the Bear. What's his name?
Yep.
Owen Benjamin. And you guys were all on. I think Dirth was on there as well. And all 4 or 5 of you guys were on there together. I think Hibbler was there.
Yep.
And I think that was the best time because the presentations are cool, but they're presentations. So I think a little mix of panel and presentations would be cool.
Okay. Right. Just
a little feedback. Other than that,
I like it.
Thanks for everything. And I enjoy the show. I like the feedback and thanks a lot.
All right. Peace.
All right.
Let's
Peace.
go over to the StreamYard, see who's there. We've got Flatter Day Saints in the house. Let's bring them on. Let's bring them on down. All right. You are live. What's up, partner? You are on mute, I believe. I don't hear you. Don't know if you don't have something plugged in. I'll come right back to you. See if you can get your mic put on there. Let's go to the phone lines. I got it. Sorry if I don't put this up, then you're going to see people's phone numbers. Where's this at? There. Nope. Okay, come on. Where is... Do that one. All right, here we go. Now let's go back to the phone lines. We've got... Oh, they both dropped. Thought there was 2 people there. All right, phone lines are open, 888-698-FLAT, and we've got... Oh, and nobody is at StreamYard either. All right, well, there we go. We're right here for now. Let's check out the chat over here, see who's here. We've got THC in the house. Mikey, how are you? Melodome got some autocorrect stuff going on. He's also calling women men and confusing me. Shouldn't be doing that. Not during the show. Ranty went broke, went to the Globe side. It's something I've been meaning to do that. I want to do an experiment to show where Ranty's wrong about that picture that he's talking about. But I haven't been able to do it. Because you can do it on a short frame and see how much, if you know which one I'm talking about, the Blackpool Tower image. But I heard he made like thousands and thousands of dollars covering the Johnny Depp trial. So, obviously he's got bigger and better things to do than talk about truth. Who's going to be in the next summit? So far, it's basically the same guys except for Melodome. Melodome will be there. It'll be all three of the guys that are going to be doing a presentation. Who else is new? Crow 777 Radio and Jason Lingren. They have a presentation. Trying to think of who else we have that's new. We've got what does she want to go by? I don't even know what she wants to be known by. She's got some awesome documentaries, but I don't know what her name she wants to go by. I should probably ask her before I read the wrong name. Well, it's Clara. I don't know if she's on Instagram. Let's go over here. We'll talk about that after. But that is coming up March 17th, March 18th. Let's try Latter-day Saints again and see if he is communicable. Oh, he left. How about Ms.? Is this the Ms.? MS. We hear you, MS. Okay, we're doing well. Let's go Latter-day Saints again. He's back. No sound. No sound. Am I not added? I'm added. Oh. Now can you hear me? No. I don't hear you. And I can mute your mic. I can unmute your mic. When you click those little three dots next to your name, click the three dots next to your name and where it says edit mic settings, you should be able to click that. Oh wait, mic volume. Talk now. Talk. Flatterday, talk. Speak.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we hear you. Go ahead. You're good.
Okay. I just posted one of. I'm at work right now, but I just posted one of my songs. If you could play it for my 2 minutes.
Yep.
All right. I put it in the chat.
Thank you very much. We'll play it.
Hey, thank you, bro. Much love.
You too. Peace. All right, we're gonna watch the latest drop. What? Why are you making videos in weird? Come on, use 16:9, bro. Come on. Don't screw me up like that. Let's check this out. It's a short one.
Yo, I just metamorphosed into the head of a porpoise. This ain't doctor's advice, can't break down no medical fortress. Most of you medics made an unethical fortune. When they put dye in your blood, that metal was scorching. Where you from, cuz? Yo, I'm headed to Morgan Freeman's just to see how much more I can see him. He's on every billboard, platform, Discord, and DM. I heard they hired C-3PO to work for 3M. It's 3 a.m. and I just thirst for your BMW. Never knew two words could infer the same meaning, but it's my way or the highway on a stairway to heaven. You've had way too much to drink, I'm too impaired to be driven. Yo, I meant to say driving, I put a dent in the hymen. I went over the center of the fighter when I entered the island. Caused an earthquake epicenter in the center of Thailand. It's my birthday to be the winner of inventor of rhymes, man. Parent now as a kid while my parents were fighting. Now I got laryngitis and all these Karens don't like me. My life is like a Ferris wheel, but I'm scared of the heights, G. I'm beside myself, despite myself, staring behind me. Send a whole caravan of them Karens to find me. Drop her off, honking the horn, blaring beside me. Now she's all in love, wants to get married tonight. We about to tie the knot, you know, we do the shit right. She's just a MILF aching for someone to beat the brakes off her. I just offered her milkshake, but I'll eat the steak off her. She just ate from the tree of Scientia, cause a snake offered. When I found out water doesn't bend, I'd say my faith. I'm getting exasperated, waiting on this NASA balloon. Took an 8 the shrooms, masturbated while debating on Zoom. It feels so amazing when he's blazing this herb up. Sitting in this suburban, nothing can disturb him. You should have averted your eyes, cause his life is so perfect, so superfluous if he were to get murdered. To a man's heart, if you heard it's through burgers, you ought to try feeding him fruit and not food.
All right, Latter-day Saints, everybody. Recording in some weird aspect ratio. 16:9, folks. 16:9. Okay, unless you're on TikTok, in which case it's 9:16. But let's just neither here nor there. All right, let's go back to the StreamYard. I heard some people. Oh, that's going to cause problems. Hold on 1 second. Let me do this before I screw up my system. How about Christopher? I don't know what that says. Lievens? I got it. All right, what's up? Welcome to the show.
How you doing?
Fantastic.
Listen, I just started following your show not too long ago.
All right, welcome. What a smartest decision of your life.
Well, I'm going to tell you, quite honestly, I spent 9 years in Afghanistan. And here's what happened to me. Back in those days, flat Earth wasn't a thing.
Right.
I was still asleep, but looking back on it in retrospect today, it really rings a bell. So here's my short story.
All right, I'm looking forward to it.
On my downtime, I was a contractor. Okay, so on my downtime, I would go to the flight lines and just hang out with the paramedics and the helicopter pilots, and I did this for months on end, and they were good guys. So I would sit there on a lawn chair, mind you, and talking to pilots, and there was, I would say, on a normal basis, between 7 to 10 helicopters lined up. Now, there was always a helicopter that was hovering within chest height, maybe 6 foot. Just always hovering. You got it?
Okay.
And I would go, actually, literally walk up to the helicopter while these guys were sitting in the helicopter, and they'd be, just talking to me. And I asked them, I'm like, do you guys have to adjust for anything? And they're like, no, we just pull up the stick and we leave it in basically a neutral state.
Uh-huh.
Okay. Are you getting it? Now, at the time, nothing rang a bell but I would always sit back, go to my lawn chair and talk with the paramedics and other pilots, and we'd sit there right on the flight line. But within that time period, and what I'm talking, and sometimes they would sit there for 5 minutes to 2 hours. It all depending on the calls that they would get in to take off. And if one took off, another pilot would get in and hover and wait until they got a call. So sometimes we would sit there for, and I'm not kidding you, maybe an hour and a half, 2 hours, maybe longer, maybe shorter. So, and this rang a bell to me coming into this flat earth and this whole motionary twisted system that the earth is spinning. And so the helicopter and where I was sitting within, I would guess, 15 minutes to a half hour, even less.
The earth had raced by it and you guys were, oh no.
That helicopter should have been, a mile down the runway or whatever way the earth is spinning at that time.
And it would actually be quite far, a lot farther than you think.
Probably.
You said you were, sometimes it was an hour and a half?
Oh yeah.
Yes. I mean, if you're in Afghanistan, which is probably, I don't know, 30s, 40s as far as latitude. So you're probably talking 600 miles per hour. So you would, it should be 900 miles down the road after an hour and a half.
Yeah. I was actually on Kandahar Air Force Base, right on the flight line. And I'd get off work and I'd sit there and just chit chat. And I even specifically asked, and I remember this clear as day, talking to these guys. And this wasn't just this was a normal thing for me because we get bored. And but I would ask them various questions because I wanted to be a helicopter pilot. So these are the type of questions I asked. I'm like, so when you're hovering there, what are you doing to hover? And they're basically, they pull up so much, whatever the yoke is or whatever it is, and they sit and wait. And they can even just sit and turn and talk to you like I'm talking to you right now. And I did it, and I've witnessed it for sometimes an hour on end.
And this is what I mean by their answers are always non-scientific. Their answer is, oh, the atmosphere moves with the earth, so everything acts as if it's still, but it has no mechanism by which to move with the earth, right? So there's nothing touching. And so they say the earth spins freely in space. Okay, we can get that. If it's in a vacuum, then maybe it wouldn't have any impedance. But when you're talking about the atmosphere spinning, well, the atmosphere is going to run into other air. It's going to slow down. It cannot stay lockstep with the earth, and it would have to change speeds by the higher you went, right? The higher you go, the bigger the circumference is, meaning the faster it needs to go to get to the same place at the same time, meaning each layer going up is going to be moving faster than the layer below it, but what mechanism is causing it to move faster. There isn't one. So it's impossible. It debunks the globe, whether globists want to admit it or not. What years were you in Afghanistan?
I got there in 2004, and I stayed in Kandahar, Kandahar Air Force Base until I think it was 2008 to the midsummer of 2008, and then I got transferred to Jalalabad until 2011, and then I got hit with a 107 rocket, and things went south from there. And I got sent home.
Thank you for your service. I want to ask you though, what does it feel like when you see what happened to Afghanistan last year, when it kind of all seems like it went to naught?
Oh, that was a complete setup.
Right.
I mean, Ray Charles could see that.
You mean with the plane and the people running after it?
Come on.
Yeah.
I mean, really? You think we're just going to leave this stuff? And there again, because I was there so long, and I got to, and I worked with and got to be friends with a lot of different soldiers and higher ups and this and that.
Right.
I asked questions of why we're truly there, and there was a few answers that I found out that were very alarming. I don't know if you want to get into that right now, but
well, I don't know if we have time, but for the most part, is it that just more evidence of the American empire?
It was not about getting Taliban. Let's just put it that way.
Was it about ruining sacred sites, or more about installing our government wherever we so please?
Okay, one of them was we want a strategic
right.
pinpoint, just like we had in Germany
right.
and other places, to keep an eye on particular other places that we were going to invade and this and that. So we want to put a permanent structure on things.
Right.
And the other is in Afghanistan, in particular places, there are minerals, gems. When I say gems, this place is loaded with all kinds of,
We're basically the mob over here in the United States. They just lie to the people. The people don't know that, but we're basically the mob.
Oh yeah.
It's
a given.
You can play ball, or you can, or not. And I don't think we have anybody's gold left. But the reason why is because we spent it on all of our equipment. So we're kind of like, hey, look at our stuff.
Really, the gold and stuff like that. That wasn't particularly what they were after.
No. The gold would have been what we took from Germany, France, those kind of places. Held it in Fort Knox. It's empty now because I think they spent it all on our military. So now our military is really beefed up. And this way, when people come and ask for their gold back, we're like, nah, not getting it back.
Now listen,
not getting it back.
With all this being said, I'm sure your audience and you as well has heard about the Kandahar giants.
Yep. Now, what did you talk to anybody who knows anything about it?
I saw one.
Wow.
There was one. Yes, there was one that actually came onto our camp, and he was young. He was probably 8.5 foot tall.
Okay.
And he had red hair. And they brought him on to work. He didn't speak a lick of English, but the guys, the locals, Afghani locals that brought him in, they were actually working with us for a while, and they introduced me to him. And this kid, I called him a kid. I literally came up to his waist. I'm 5'8", and he was still growing, and he wasn't like this skinny, he was well built,
right?
And literally, I didn't know about giants or anything at the time, and I didn't know about the Kandahar giant that later that we all hear about,
right?
That was
the one they killed in that cave or something.
Killed and captured, right?
Yeah.
But I did witness this thing, and it was shocking because even in the States, he would have made Kareem Abdul-Jabbar look like a midget.
Right.
And he
That's
was
what they say about the
probably only
Patagonians.
22 years old.
Wow.
And he had red hair. Okay. I didn't notice if he had 6 fingers or anything like that, but I was told by the locals. I mean, I got to be friends with them, and they told me stories. And at the time, again, I was asleep, and they told me stories of things around just of this nature, of giants bigger than him.
That's crazy because I was reading just yesterday some old church fathers stuff from the, I don't know, 300, 400, 500 era. And in 2 different passages, they were just randomly talking and they just threw in there, oh, and the giants that we have the bones here are being moved over here. And it's like they've just wiped that completely off the map.
Of course they do.
Yep.
And I question, again, if this is another reason why our military and our governments have went over there.
Huh.
And not only that, went over to Iraq, because that throws into question, there's a lot of things, if you look into it, that they wanted Nimrod, and they, from my understanding, they found him. And then we got to question, are they, screwing with DNA and all this other crap and trying to...
I wouldn't put it past them. I heard that they've made half human, half animals all the time.
Oh, of course. I mean, I've been on different podcasts and listened to people's eyewitness accounts of, and again, it's beyond measure of what they're witnessing all throughout the United States and throughout the world of, again, Sasquatch, which this goes way back, but there's more to it. There's dogmen. There's
I just heard a story the other day of a little girl that got lost. She was out in the forest or something, was lost for like a week, and they found her, and she like came out of a cave and said that a big bear had taken care of her the whole time.
Yeah. And again, the government, the police, the recreation board, all of them, I believe they're signed something, or they got to keep quiet, or a lot of people, a lot of these guys have lost their lives or went missing because they came out and they're whistleblowers and what have you. So these national parks, there's a reason why there's national parks. You can't go in there with cameras. There are no fly zones. You can't fly over these things. Why is that? They're just national parks, right? Of course. No, there's something to them.
There's something that's happening there. I don't know if they're portals or what, or it's kind of weird. By the way, just so you know, Snopes has debunked the giant story. So, if Snopes says it's bullshit, then I believe in Snopes. Hey, I got to let you go because I got people behind you, and I've went way over 3 minutes. Call back next week. We'd love to hear more.
All right.
Later. Okay, we've got Space Audits. What up, Alan?
Yo, what up, G?
You only get 3 minutes, though. I'm not unless you have any stories about giants or being cool and protecting our country.
Word. Well, I'll save the giants for the end, and then I'll just extend my time. So quick congratulations. The email from Mike in Science, he basically admitted that we've been right the whole time, right?
Right. Have you talked to him since then?
No, I haven't talked to him since, and I heard Tribune was reaching out to him to try and set something up.
Okay.
And he hasn't responded yet, but he was saying that he was busy with school and whatnot. But yeah, that's so embarrassing, man. Because then we had a long chat after that, and he showed me the same thing, but he actually didn't include the little excerpt that he added for you. And then he was like, "Why is the vacuum thing such a big deal for you?" And it's like, I don't know, maybe because you guys are all lying about it, and you secretly, messaged Jaren that we were right the whole time. So I don't know, like, why it's a big deal, man. Like, you tell me. So
yeah, it's pretty glaring. I mean, because he then sees our issue, and I don't really know how he solves it.
No, okay. So I was looking into some of this last night so I think what they would say is that they would say that that the equalizing into the vacuum would take millions of years, and by that time it would already be replenished and stuff like that. Like they would drag it out to a time scale that nobody can.
Even that I don't think works. I mean, because again, gas has to fill the space. It doesn't fill the space slowly.
Right. That's I completely agree. And so check this out. You know how Austin was talking to Van de Graaff's grandson the other day?
Yeah, I heard that.
And he was talking about how the atmosphere, the higher up you get, is the hottest parts of it.
Right.
So if those were the hottest parts, those molecules in there would have the highest potential for escape velocity to rush out into the vacuum of space. They would overcome the gravity, right? So it would literally just keep it would go all the way down to the surface of the earth. There would be nothing, it would just keep pulling that gradient, it would just keep heating it up. And as it got hotter, they would just expand and go away. It would happen, really quickly. But I'm assuming they would just say it would take millions of years or something. That's what I think.
Yeah, I don't know. I did hear Austin talking about. We had a conversation with Pitch Lumen, myself, and Austin the other day. It was good. Talked for about 2 hours.
Oh, really? Is that on stream or was that?
No, it was just private.
Word.
Just to introduce them to Austin had not heard of him yet or met him, so I just kind of introduced them, and then they got to chatting. It's fun though. Good conversation.
That dude said some interesting stuff.
Yeah, he's smart.
So real quick, can I do a presentation real quick?
Sure, go ahead.
Real quick one. Okay, so I'm working on a presentation of the. You
have a link or anything, or just, or you just?
Can you do screen share?
Yep.
Okay.
Go ahead whenever you're ready.
Let me know when it's ready. Oh, how do I do it? I've never done it on.
Down there, hit present.
Oh, got it. Present slides, screen share, monitors. Hopefully, it's the right one.
Pick the right one. See you guys waiting. I'll be right with you. We're going to take the calls right after this.
All right, I think I got it.
Okay. I see it there. Let me add that. Okay, you're good.
All right, so you guys can see this?
Yes.
Okay, cool. All right, so I've been working on a presentation for the most common proofs that they say for general relativity, which are the precession of the perihelion of Mercury, gravitational redshift of light, light bending around the sun from the 1919 experiment or whatever it was, whatever year
I believe
that was.
That,
yeah, and stuff like that. So anyway, I just kind of been going over stuff, and I started looking more into the Schwarzschild solution, because that's what they tout the Schwarzschild solution as, the biggest achievement of general relativity, and they use it for all their calculations. And so what it is basically is the Schwarzschild metric is a solution to Einstein's field equations in a vacuum, which basically means that they describe the sun, whatever they're describing, orbital mechanics or anything like that with the Schwarzschild radius. What they're doing is they're saying the thing that's being orbited is not rotating. It's perfectly spherical. It has no electric charge or anything like that. And that the medium that it's in is in a vacuum, so nothing else can impede on it. There's no other gravitational forces accounted for. And the important thing to note on the Schwarzschild metric is that the thing that it's calculating the orbit for, it calculates it as having zero mass, right? So it's only good for quote unquote photons and stuff like that. But they'll apply it to planets and stuff because really they don't have a solution to the three body problem. And that's basically they've dressed up this Schwarzschild solution metric as this end all be all crowning achievement of general relativity. And by the way, when they say the solution to the Einstein field equations, what they mean from that is that the equation, all this, was derived. Can you guys see this? This is the equation, by the way.
Barely see it, yeah.
Oh, okay. Let me see if I can make it bigger for you.
We see it a little better.
Okay. Yeah. So anyway, you can just Google it though, or anyway. But anyway,
probably not. Nobody will do that. Just
Yeah. Yeah. Really. Yeah. So anyway, they impose all these perfect conditions for them to do calculations, and they're all impressed with themselves about using this to calculate for the precession of Mercury. But then what I found was that Einstein didn't even he added to the metric to get the math to work correctly.
Mm-hmm.
But when you add to a metric, it actually breaks the metric, because there's specific sets of conditions that are derived from the field equations.
Right.
So if you were going to add something to the metric, you would have to explain how you derived it from the field equation itself, and you would have to have deep principles and understanding of what you're doing. You don't just
right.
You don't just add something to cook the books. And that's what they did. And then the math came out that he was slightly closer in his prediction for the perihelion procession, and they tout that as the big achievement, but actually he broke the metric that they just invalidated the whole thing. Anyway, there's all kinds of stuff like that. So I'm going through all that with the presentation, starting with Arthur Eddington's
Oh, nice.
clip stuff.
It's gonna be a
and
long
then
one.
it's gonna be a long one. It's got. Let me go to a. Where's the thing at here?
What you should do is you should present it on your channel. Do it, and then if you feel like you could do it better the second time, it might be something we could do on my channel.
Yeah. I'm gonna really go hard on it because I found a lot of interesting stuff that I haven't heard anyone really talk about. We can end the presentation now.
Okay.
But yeah, I found some really interesting stuff, and I really want to. I really want to like hit home with it and nail it. So I'm gonna like take some time, I'm about half done with it. So when I get it finished, I'm gonna like really practice the presentation, and then present it on my channel. And if it goes good, and I feel confident enough in it, then I'll do it on yours for sure. But yeah, I think it's gonna be awesome because what I really want to do is just go over all these narratives where people just hand wave dismiss everything we say because they're like,
right,
well, Einstein predicted the Mercury thing. Oh, really? Well, how? Let's get into the specifics because when we do, it's all over. You know what I mean? So that's where I want to take the direction of that and just going over these narratives and stuff. It's really interesting stuff.
All right, well, let us know when you're done. It'd be great.
So yeah, all right. Well, that's my time, and
thank you very kindly. We'll see you next time. Okay, we've got thank you very much, Pacau MacGyver, for the $10 New Zealand money. Hopefully that's worth something. I don't really know. Let's go to the phone lines. We've got one caller at 9 minutes, one caller at 11 minutes. Wow. Who's playing tricks on us? Let's go with 401. Welcome to the show. You're on the air.
Hello. Yo, what's up, buddy?
Who's this?
9/11 Illuminati confirmed.
I know. What are you gonna do? Shill, actor, and agent.
Yeah, I knew it.
I knew it the whole time. Those are always my favorite when somebody's like does that in a video, and then there'll be somebody in the comment like, "I knew the whole time something was up with Jaren." It's like you knew for 7 years.
I had a feeling, dude.
I just knew it was up. I knew something was up. What's up? What can we do for you?
What's up, man? I'm calling from Bath, Maine. First time caller.
I thought
I just found your channel.
You said South Maine?
In what's up?
You said you're from South Maine?
Bath, Maine, like you take a bath.
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 And then Maine?
Yes, the state of Maine.
Got you. Okay, got you. Well, the rest of us in the state, we don't really consider Maine a state. So that's the problem.
It's a pretty big state. I mean, not as big as California, but beautiful state.
Is it okay? Is it cold? Do you get a lot of tornadoes or anything up there?
We do not get any tornadoes up here.
Nice, and probably no earthquakes.
But it is very, very cold. There's about a foot of snow on the ground right now.
Yeah, I don't envy you. All right, what can we do for you? Go ahead.
Well, hey, I found your channel right before the whole 2020 thing. Surprisingly, because I was in Flat Earth like 2016, 17. And I want to thank you because when I got into the whole Flat Earth thing, I just went strictly the Christian route. What I'm not saying it's a bad thing, but until you kind of brought light to it, and at first, like everyone else, when they're kind of into Christianity, I was triggered. But then some of the stuff you said, I was like, well, he does bring up some great points, and I kind of got off the whole Christian train, and thanks to you, you brought a lot of good points to it. And I know some people get really mad about you bringing that stuff up, but it was definitely eye-opening to me, some of the points that you brought up.
Yeah, they do, but I mean, I think it needs to be said. It's better said, and then if people still want to believe that, by all means. I was so bored yesterday. I actually wrote a creed. That's how bored I was yesterday. Well, not bored. I just had a moment where I was like, I should write a creed. Start out with "I believe" and just kind of keep going from there. So I wrote that. It was kind of fun.
There you go.
Maybe read that on Saturday.
So in Bath, like we're known for Bath Iron Works, which is like a big. We build battleships for the Navy.
Okay.
So it's like a big federal contractors. That's where I work through General Dynamics. So we have like, I work with like 4,000 people in the shipyard, and I'm pretty outgoing. So I'm like flat smacking people nonstop at work.
Nice job.
Which is fun sometimes, but today you get like ganged up on sometimes. So I'm getting into it with someone.
Yeah.
And I don't know how you guys stay so calm on the debates. Like, something I've been working on, but people just say the stupidest fucking thing.
Yeah, it's so
and they're
stupid.
so condescending about being retarded. It's like, I just can't contain myself sometimes. And today was one of those days. It's not like I got into a yelling match, but I definitely lose my cool sometimes at work, which is terrible for getting people to flat earth. But
Right. You're not going to help anybody. Right. And I realize that when I play back stuff, you know, that guy Stewart put on his channel, me yelling at Brenda. And I'm like, all right, yes. When I hear it back, you're like, okay, I can see anybody listening to that. I'm not winning any flat earth people over, you know, they're sitting on the fence when I'm yelling, calling her effing bitch and stuff, but still. So sometimes, I mean, it's hard to keep your cool. But at the same time, I've kind of learned to not worry about it. Like, it's not our job to convince everyone. It's not for everyone, right? And so you can kind of plant the seeds, and if somebody gets real dumb and wants to call you names or say anything, I just leave it at like, okay, that's cool. You want to feel like you're spinning and flying through space at 1.2 million miles per hour, have at it, just because some atheist told you so. And it usually makes them kind of think about that as you walk away. And then you've done your job, because I guarantee you in the coming months, that person will sit down at a computer and will start searching.
maybe, and it's funny you say that, because I remember you saying, I was like, oh, cool. When I get mad, I should just go to what Jaren said. Be like, yeah, funny, I don't. So I did that today.
Uh-huh.
And then they were like, oh, I thought you said we were spinning at 1,000 miles an hour and revolving around the sun at 66,000 miles. What are you talking about?
Right.
I was like, dude, well, you got to realize there's 4 different. It's just hard to.
Yeah, especially when you're
really
getting ganged
get
up on. Do you have anybody else that's there that's on your side? Because it's always good to be in numbers.
No, not at work. In Maine, I do, but
right.
And it's weird because like it's very blue collar, like mostly conservative there.
Right.
So you would think like they're not. A lot of people didn't get college degrees. It's like mostly trade schools.
Well, yeah, that's
So
actually
you'd think
that's actually one of the worst groups, to be honest.
I'm finding that out now. Yeah.
Yeah, and I guess it comes down to flat Earth is really appealing to dumb people who have never had a chance to really be so-called smart, right? So what they see in flat Earth is they're like, oh my God, there's somebody dumb enough to think the Earth's flat. Well, I can go over there and I can say how dumb they are. And it's not very often that a dumb person gets to tell somebody else that they're dumb. So they feel good about that, and they kind of feel propped up. They've got all the backing of science. They've got all the backing of mainstream. So, and then they realize they don't know anything that they're talking about, and they just look dumb. But they don't think that. They think that there's no possible way that all these scientists could be wrong. And so they call you names, and I think it kind of is their first opportunity. And then some of them made channels and ended up wearing very tight shirts. So.
But hey, I just wanted to be quick. I got to finish my dinner. One last thing.
Yes.
I got to give you props.
Thank you.
It was like less than a year ago. I still geek out like randomly just thinking about you saying it. There was this one insufferable guy. He had like a weird British / I don't even know what the accent was, but you were burning him pretty bad. And the line, I think it was like, find the people that talk like this and just get your biggest nuke and drop it on them. And I thought it was so funny at the time. I
don't even remember that. I wonder who I was talking about.
It was, I don't know. The guy had the worst British accent, and he was just like,
oh, the creaky guy. Yeah. Oh, Jenny's doing that guy. I do remember. I think I do remember someone dropping a nuke on him.
And I was like, damn, I couldn't have said that any better myself.
that guy's so annoying. He's got to be doing that on purpose. Although I feel that about all people with accents. Like, come on, that's not real.
Hey, thanks, man.
All right.
Keep up the good work. You're the man.
Later. StreamYard will be right there. We got one more call on the caller line. Let's go. They've been 17 minutes waiting. 727, 17 minutes, the Jesuit line. You're on the Jesuit line.
Jaren.
Whoa, what's up?
Jaren, what's up, bro? This is Eddie. First time caller.
Eddie,
I
what's
feel
up?
like you're like you're one of the OGs, bro. OGs.
Thank you.
Seriously. All right, so quick question, or I don't know. So a few months ago, you were talking about you said something about reincarnation. You were talking about your mother. I resonated with you pretty hard. Congratulations on Maverick, cute little boy.
Thank you.
I have a daughter. 2.5 years old.
She's a pureblood?
Pardon me? Yeah, pardon me?
And she's a pureblood? She's no vaccines?
No vaccine.
All right, I'll put her on the
2.5
list.
years old.
We got a list going. We've got Hibbler's got a daughter, and that girl Clara I was talking about has a daughter, and they're all vying for Maverick already. We're trying to keep it clean. Keep it. So we'll put you on the list.
Thank you, bro. My name's Eddie, and my daughter's Jelly. So yeah, put her on the list for me.
Awesome.
So check this out, dude. Real quick. All right. So my father died in 2019.
Oh, my mom, same thing.
So check this out. And then I had my kid okay, I'm not a religious guy. I'm a flat earther. I the only thing that makes sense to me is the flat earth as of right now.
Okay.
But everything else, dude, it doesn't make sense. But reincarnation kind of blew my mind a little bit when this shit happens.
Okay.
So my father, I took care of my father to the end, bro. Till the end, till he died. And I remember how he is. And when people say old people revert to being like kids,
right?
It's kind of true. So, boom, I have my kid, 2020, 2020 baby. So May 9th. And bro, I see the weirdest similarities of my father and this kid, like anger issues and just her hairline when she was a baby.
Right.
She actually looked like my father at the end of his life. Blows my mind. And I remember you saying something about your mother, and I apologize, or condolences on your mother also.
Uh-huh.
And did she happen to pass before your kid came out?
Yeah. Yeah, and she actually was big into music, and like somebody said the other day, oh, your son has piano fingers, which my mom played piano, and my mom did, right? She would be in bands and do all these things. So he's crazy. He loves music, loves to sing, dance. He's a little bit quirky, like my mom was. She would dance, but you'd always kind of look a little sideways, like, come on, mom, you're a little too white to that. But he's kind of the same way. So yeah, it's definitely something to think about. You never know.
Yeah, bro. And I've always wanted to talk to you about that. And I was like, let me just work up the balls to call him today. I was driving from work and I was listening. I was like, I'm calling today. I'm going to tell him about my thingy. And I don't know. I mean, I'm not a reincarnation guy, but I don't know. That just is the time slot. Like the time fits.
Right. And I've always kind of thought like if if the elite knew something like that, maybe that's why they keep the money in the family, right? So like the Bush family, if they know that George Bush Senior Poppy is going to come back in that family as the next child, well, then you would keep kind of saving up money. Now, the reason I don't believe that is because all the stories that I've heard that led me to believe in reincarnation have been about children who remember their past life, but it's never in the same family. It's always somewhere far away. So that's where it kind of like breaks the illusion there, the idea that I might have.
Or it just stays in the family tree, dude, in the DNA somehow.
Yeah, and I think that we are a product of at least the eight ancestors of ours. I think that they say go back about 8. After that, it's like less than 1% or something. But
oh yeah, that's right. I remember you saying that. Oh, quick, one last thing.
Yeah.
The way I got into flat Earth in 2015, I've been in it since 15. Was, believe it or not, was Hollow Earth. I got into the Hollow Earth first because my father, me and my dad, before he passed, he's a big time conspiracy guy when he was 81, and he was all about trying to take down the Freemasons, right? So I got up onto the Freemasons when I was, at that time, pretty young, and the Hollow Earth is how I got into it. But then I got into flat Earth, of course, and I haven't gone anywhere since. And you're OG, Jaren. Just gotta shout it out.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that, and I'll be here. Keep doing it. So doing the show.
Oh yeah, and real quick, I do resonate with you because I'm from Santa Clara.
Okay.
I was born in Santa Clara, and I was born in Santa Clara, and I was raised in San Jose for a little bit, but I'm over here in Florida now.
Where did you go to high school?
But yeah. No, I went to high school in Florida, but I was raised till I was 10 when I was in San Jose.
Gotcha.
And I came to Florida.
Gotcha. That's a nice move. Yeah, I was just telling somebody earlier today about my terrible high school Bellarmine is no fun. But What are you gonna do? All right. Well, I appreciate the call.
No doubt, bro.
Take it easy. Peace.
For sure. Take
All
care.
right. And I realized also, for people who want to know, here's what you can learn from the way that they treated me in high school. What did I do here? Drop call. Oh, there we go. So, like I've said before, the Jesuits tried to push me into religion or into science. And I've often said that they want you in a belief system, but that doesn't really say a lot, because you're like, well, why? What difference does it make if you're in a belief system? Well, because if you're in a belief system, think about what do those two belief systems have in common. So think about it. One side is science, one side is religion. And what do they not believe in? Consciousness, right? Manifestation. So there's a reason why they steer you from the truth. And we're starting to learn with things that we can affect, things that we can manifest. I mean, look at me. What is this? 12 or 13 shows in a row I've been on time? Simply because every morning when I brush my teeth, I listen to a thing tell me I'm on time for every show. And it has worked. So again, is it me doing it or is it me manifesting? This is where it always gets very confusing, but it doesn't matter because it's happening. So I don't really need to care much about that. And it's happened to other places in my life. It's just if you put your mind to it. Let me give you another something to do. If you guys want to enjoy some of the benefits of the universe, try this one on. Every day, throughout the day, say to yourself, things just keep working out for me. That's all you got to do. But you have to believe it. It's the most important part about manifestation. And let me explain why. When God created the world, do you think he had doubt? Do you think he had pause? Or do you think to create something, you have to just create? Right? You can't doubt it. You can't, I don't want to build this, don't want to make. No, a creation event has to be just created. It's got to be a full cognizant decision made. So you have to think of it the same way. So throughout the day, say it 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 times. Just think to yourself, man, things keep working out for me right now. Man, everything's going my way. Everything's turning out Millhouse. Try that and see if you're surprised that, what do you know? Do things just happen to come through like that? Or is everything really working out for you because you manifested it? Let's go back to StreamYard. I know there's some people waiting. Let's go to Theo Kirkley in the house. What up?
Hello, Jaren.
How are you?
Yeah, so listen, I want to talk to you about spirituality, God,
okay,
that kind of thing. And I'm wondering if there's anything you want to talk about specifically in that realm.
Like questions I have or something?
Yeah.
No, not that I can think of. Why, are you Christian?
Not necessarily. I believe in God and I believe in Jesus, but
okay.
I'm a Unitarian as opposed to a Trinitarian.
Okay.
I don't believe in the Trinity.
Okay.
I talked to you like a year and a half ago, once or twice or 3 times. So you might remember me from that. But
where did we talk?
On one of these type of things that you were doing.
Oh, okay. I don't recall.
When you were starting out with all of that.
I don't recall.
Anyway, I was thinking of 2 different subjects, and tell me what you're more interested in. I was first thinking about talking about the Holy Spirit and what that is. Alternatively, the guy just brought up the idea of reincarnation, and I could tell you why that's false.
Okay.
But tell me what's more interesting to you.
Well, I guess finding out why that's false, unless are you using the Bible to say that's false?
No.
Okay.
I have a source, and it might freak you out, but it's not too strange. You want to hear it?
I don't mind at all. Yes, go ahead. You can't scare
me. There's a dude in Australia named Alan John Miller, and he claims to be Jesus.
There's a lot of people who claim to be Jesus, but there's also another guy, and I think he died though. Go Lightly, you remember him? Something. No. God, what was his name? Something. Go Lightly. This is back when I was falling for all that bullshit.
Yeah.
Go Lightly.
Well,
I don't remember his name now. Anyway. His name was Jesus Yahweh Brian Leonard Go Lightly Marshall. I believe he's dead. Maybe not. Man thinks he's Jesus reincarnated, says it's his face on the Shroud of Turin. Sorry. And he like does all this math and gematria to figure it out. But go ahead, tell me about your guy.
Well, it's interesting because I was about to like tell you why it's not true, but he did reincarnate, so it's a strange thing. So
who reincarnated?
The guy in Australia who claims to be Jesus.
He did reincarnate, but he's not Jesus?
He did reincarnate. He is Jesus, but reincarnation as traditionally taught is not correct. The idea that you cycle back and forth and you come back to learn a new lesson every single time. For me, it's like, imagine you went back to third grade over and over and over and over.
Yeah, I don't believe that at all. I mean, I'd have to read my creed for you to get my belief in that. But
I want to hear that. Are you gonna? Do I only have 15 seconds left?
15 plus the 30-second music. But I could probably read it. I don't have a problem reading. It's one of those works in progress, right? So it's one of those that I want to kind of refine in time. I'll ask the chat. If you want to hear it, press 1. If you want to wait until Saturday's show, press 2. Go ahead.
All right. So I'll try to talk to the music. So basically, there is a spirit world. You have a soul, you have a physical body, and you have a spirit. And when you pass from the earth, you lose your physical body, but you retain your spirit body. And your spirit body can go anywhere pretty much in the spirit world or anywhere on earth. A lot of people choose to return to earth and hang out on the earth and do things on the earth. And who do a lot of people go to when they come back to the earth? A lot of times their own family members. So you see a lot of character traits in dead relatives passed down into other family members that are newly born.
Okay. That makes sense.
That's how that works.
Okay.
Because they're hanging around. So thanks for the time.
All right. Well, thank you. I appreciate it. Looks like everybody wants to hear it, so you're going to get to hear it. Let me bring on Troubling Tribune. I'll get to it right after him, okay? Thank you so much, Theo. What up, boss? How are you?
Hey, I'm doing fantastic. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah. Enjoyed your show the other night? The one that I saw, the religious one. Did you get any shit for it, or is it just me who gets that?
So far, I've gotten just a little bit of shit, but
Okay.
honestly, I don't care too much. That's kind of the whole point of it, was to challenge people's
Right.
programming. I'm not one of those people that says, although you're free to do it however you like. I think if you do have something that is troubling you, I think you should face it head on.
Right.
So,
Right. It's kind of, it should be a sign of something, right? If something's pissing you off, yeah.
absolutely. I actually did. I did a few religious debates over on TikTok too, just to see what was going on there. And
How'd that go?
I mean, they can definitely. I say they can argue it on surface value. If you don't know anything about the Bible, it definitely seems like it. But I actually find that the best source for discrediting the Bible is actually the Jews, because they'll go through and they'll just completely debunk the whole idea of a savior with the original translations. The original proper tense, the proper translation, if you will.
Right.
Because I mean, the Trinity is super duper easy to debunk.
That's easy.
When you get on into it, it doesn't even make sense on its face. It's just something that they have to believe because they have verses where the prophet is
right.
They think they're saying, "He has sent me, who is also with my spirit."
Right.
That's a Trinity.
Yeah.
I'm like, no, that's a.
Or like when they say before, Abraham, I am. Oh, that means this is Trinity. Is it? Oh. The Jesus is the creator. Yes.
I found I like to take that approach with it because I actually did find that when it comes to Christianity specifically, if you can get people to realize the mistranslations and how just wrong they are at the face value of it and get them to start digging, then you should be able to eventually come to the conclusion that, a savior in general isn't biblical. And then once you get to that, it's like, man, why the heck would I want to believe this? This is a crazy cult.
Especially if God's out there saying, I'm not a man. I'm not the son of man. I don't walk on the earth. And then he's like, I'm coming as the son of man and I'm walking on the earth. Wait, what? Don't confuse me.
Yes, like, wouldn't we consider that, if you were, truly a biblical scholar, wouldn't you consider that blasphemy?
Yeah, I mean, and that's why the Jews killed him, supposedly, because he was saying he was God. And they're like, no, you're not. Now that, again, the problem with saying that, why I don't feel comfortable saying that, is because I don't know what happened back then. I'm reading the writings, and there's even times where you can see the church fathers talk about somebody, and they'll say, "What was the opinion of so and so?" And then they say, "Well, all we have is the negative view of him, so we know that it's not the true view because the people who wrote the history, if they defeated that group or whatever, then they're going to write shitty history about that person and say, oh, he was just a terrible person and he did this." But they're like, we can't really call that truth because, of course, imagine if the globe holds up and think of what they'll say about me in the future. It'll be, oh, he was a liar. He was a good grifter. He went on YouTube for hours a day and lied to people. So again, it's because whoever wins the information war can say whatever they want about you. So that makes it like weird, because you're like, okay, so they could have taken Jesus's words and said anything. And this is why I know that my salvation cannot depend on it.
100%. If anything, it's going to depend on your gut instinct and your ability, I think, to say no to ridiculousness, regardless of what authority form it takes. I think that is going to be a huge test for us as we go through whatever ride we want to call this.
I think you'll enjoy the creed as well.
Absolutely. I'm looking forward to it. I think that people will enjoy the last show we just did too, even though I did have to cut it halfway through. My internet cut, so then I rebooted the stream, so it's in 2 parts. But we just did testing the matrix. We did I talked a little bit about the left-right paradigm. That's actually something really old from Gnostic belief. So I think it's really interesting how we're playing that out now. Just about everything mainstream, of course, is complete bullshit, but most of your audience already knows that. So
hopefully.
Also, I'd like to announce that on the 31st, I'm going on the Mellow Dome for the
I heard.
Show.
Going against who are you facing off? Is
Ashley.
Okay, so it's a known thing. I was going to say her name, but I didn't want to ruin it if it was like a surprise.
Oh no, it's all good. I mean, if everybody knows, if everybody knows that I'm doing it, obviously they can know who the opponent is.
Okay, so that's fun, and it's for charity, right?
Yep, absolutely. So
very cool.
Everybody be sure to tune in for that, and hopefully we get a bunch of the questions right, and I don't look like an idiot.
You should do well. I would think you'd do well.
Absolutely. Yeah, I appreciate you having me on. Just wanted to drop a few pieces here, and I'll be tuning in for the rest of the show. I'll see you guys next time.
Sounds good. Thanks. All right, so let's get rid of him, and we're going to do the creed, and then we'll go to the calls. Caller, I see you there. Wait 1 second. I'm trying to get this up on the screen. What is this one? All right. So again, this is a work in progress. Like I said, it's not a finalized copy. It's just something I wrote kind of quickly. And I'm trying to see if this thing will work. Will this work? All right, we'll just use that on the screen. All right, so here's the creed. And again, work in progress. Don't hold me to it. It's just kind of getting things on paper. And do we have any kind of cool music to play in the background? That'd be fun. Mary and Joseph, pray for us, and the archangel. Oh, sorry. I won't sing. That's not the way to keep the audience. I'll tell you that much. Let's see what we got here. We've got this music. See if I got any music queued up here. What is this? Celebrate Brain Spawn theme. I don't know what these are. Meditative background. That sounds good. All right, here we go. Found something. Okay. It's the Jeranism Creed. Here we go. I believe in one God, the Almighty, the Supreme Source, the creator of all things in heaven and on earth, both visible and invisible. I believe the world exists and can only exist because of the will of God. I believe the earth exists nowhere, but in the mind or domain of God, and only because God chooses to allow it to exist. I believe that God is the creator of all things, and without God, all things that exist would cease to do so. I believe that God exists outside of time, because the infinite has no beginning and has no end, and as an infinite being, because the infinite has no beginning and no end. As an infinite being, God had no way to experience things in a physical world, such as being born, suffering, dying, and everything in between, as those things can only exist within time. I believe that in order to experience a physical and carnal existence, the infinite mind of God chose to create a world that existed in time. In order to experience everything that one can experience, God chose to divide itself into an unknown number of separate souls, spirits, or pieces of God. This was done so that the infinite might experience all that is finite. I believe that God chose to give each of those small pieces of itself the gift of life, personality, and the gift of free will. I believe that you and me, as well as every human being who has ever or will ever exist on the earth, are a piece of that creator. As such, you get to experience the world through your eyes and senses on behalf of God. Turn it down a little bit. On behalf of God. I believe that each human being is born into the world, is born with the inborn spirit of God, the creator, inside them. Hence, all human beings are a piece of the creator, and as such, all humans should be treated as a piece of the infinite and loving God. I believe that with the gift of free will, the outcome of any and all interactions, events, activities, and situations are unknowable. The only known thing is that God could end this world at any time, and return to that existence from which it came, that place that is outside of time. I believe that as a result of each of us being born with that piece of the Creator inside of us, that God can be known, thanked, reached, and experienced, especially when acting according to what is good. What is good can also be called God's will. I believe there is a concerted and organized effort to take away your birthright and opportunity to show God that you can act within that will. This was done by constantly teaching you that truth is found outside yourself. You were taught that truth comes from textbooks, written by the authority, from teachers, professors, priests, pastors, and anything else they can do, rather than telling you to search and explore that feeling inside you. I believe that when one helps others or acts in selfless ways, and according to what is good, that they receive satisfactory feeling inside them, this is the Creator telling you that you're on the right path. When you turn against the inner voice, that some call your conscience, and choose to instead live your life against that inborn voice, you are choosing to follow the adversary. Many know this as worshiping or following Satan. I believe the existence of God is known and obvious to all humans. The world is a magical place, and some men have gone out of their way to convince others that there is no God, and that all things came into existence on their own through a giant explosion that created all that there is. I believe that if a person chooses to believe this, then they are showing the Creator disdain for the voice of truth inside them, and instead showing the Creator that they would rather trust and put faith in others rather than in themselves and in the gift that God gave them. However, they were given free will and have just as much right to do that and choose what they want, and choose what they do with their free will. Whether they choose to go through life with the will of God as their compass, or if they choose instead to go the opposite direction, ignoring the inborn spirit and will of God and leading others astray as well. I believe that those who choose evil, destruction, deceit, or anything else outside the will of God have turned away from the inborn voice and choose instead to place themselves on high as if they themselves are God, instead of a small piece equal to every other human being ever born. I believe that no man has seen God or heard his voice as anything other than that voice inside you. I do not believe God ever chose to incarnate as one human being for the forgiveness of sins, but instead chose to incarnate in all humans. As such, God has committed no crimes and no murders. God cannot act outside of God's will. It would be impossible to do so. However, it can be said that God has committed all crimes and been the victim to all acts of evil, since God experiences those things through man in which he dwells. I believe that since humans have been given that higher mind and a brain capable of complex thought, that the very knowledge of our God is possessed by all. But throughout time, it goes without saying that some of those who were born with free will use their free will in ways not in line with that of the will of God. In fact, at times, some have completely disregarded their inborn spirit and have ventured down a path of destruction. I believe that with the gift of free will comes the inevitable consequence of evil. This will exist, and it will at times infringe upon the rights and the activities of those acting within the will of God. When this takes place, humans will need at times to enact and enforce laws, both to detour and remind them of what is good, and to punish those who choose to injure or infringe on the rights of others. I believe that we are born with certain guaranteed human rights, and that no one should ever lose any of their God-given rights unless they have chosen to take the rights of others. Once that has been determined, those who have harmed others will need to be separated from those who respect others until they can prove that they will act within the rules agreed upon. If they continue to act opposite of the will, those humans who others see as an embodiment of God may need to make a harsh decision to separate ones who cannot act within the will of God. This may include ending the life of one, especially if they have taken a life. However, outside of murder, there is no reason to kill somebody for their abuses of the law. Even child predators or the like should be separated from humanity and kept away from others for as long as needed until proven that they will not hurt again. I believe all humans have the same rights, as we are all children of the Most High. Let me change it, sorry. Turn it down. Thank you. I believe that humans all have the same rights because we're all children of the Most High God. I believe that in the Golden Rule, to treat others as you would want to be treated. I believe the following are the God-given rights of every human being, and any and all infringement upon these rights by anyone constitutes a crime and can come with consequences. Consequences that include the removal of the rights below. Those rights are, in no particular order, the right to life, the right to the freedom and a life free of violence and harm, the right to equality between men and women, the right of choice, the right of bodily autonomy, the right to join in union or to say no to union, the right to choose your own medical procedures such as circumcision, the right to decide what happens to your body without coercion, the right of children to control their own body. A child who knows that they are in control of their body is less likely to fall victim to any sexual abuse, freedom from torture, the right to a safe and happy childhood, freedom from slavery, right to liberty and security of person and home, the right to own property and the right to property owned, the right to be treated with humanity and separation, freedom of movement, right to a fair and speedy trial in front of a jury of their peers, the right to presumed innocence, the right to privacy, freedom of religion and belief as long as these rights are not infringed upon, freedom of expression of free speech, right of peaceful assembly, right to join in union and start a family, the right to participate in any public affairs, the right to equality before the law, the right to work and the freedom to hire and or choose to accept work, the right to rest and leisure, the right to just and favorable conditions at work, freedom from exploitation, the right to a basic standard of living, the right to shelter, freedom from hunger and thirst, and freedom of parents to choose schooling that they wish for their children. I believe the above rights are the basic moral principles of human behavior and must be protected by law. They are inalienable, fundamental rights that all persons are inherently entitled to simply because he or she is a human being. That they are applicable everywhere and at every time in the sense of being universal, and at the same time, they are the same for everyone. As a human being, you have an obligation to protect the rights of the other human beings and to do nothing to infringe upon those rights. It is understood by all that the only way to have your rights infringed upon is when you have infringed on the rights of others. Only as a result of due process can these rights be taken away, and to do so must be approached with all possible care and by those that society has elected as the most upstanding. I believe that no one culture or no one nationality or society has special claim to God. I believe that God cannot write a book or a poem unless it is penned through man, in which case it is immediately fallible. I believe we are all God's children, and as such we all are his chosen people, since we all were given the same gift of life. No one person is above any other person until one person takes actions that infringe upon the rights of another, at which point he has stepped below the other. The one holding true to the rights of others shall be held in higher regard than anyone attacking or looking to injure or infringe on the rights of another. I believe the earth is a proving ground or a test. I believe we have all been given the same I believe we have all been given the same textbook with which to study, and that textbook has no words. It is nature. By listening to nature and listening to the voice inside you and learning from others who listen to the voice inside them, you will be led towards the good and hence be doing the will of God. I believe that when we take our last breath, that some of us will cease to exist forever. Those who infringed on others and did not do what they needed to do in order to make up for usurpations against others will die and sleep forever. I believe that some may have done what was right and good, but failed to see the true test and instead fell for deceptions of men. I believe those souls may return again to the material world to get another chance to prove themselves. I believe it is your right to use your free will as you see fit. If you choose to use your free will to freely trust known liars who tell you fantastic lies about men who walk on water, born of a virgin, or giant suns like UV Scooty, which is 57 million trillion quadrillion 57 quintillion miles away, with a radius of 1,700 times larger than the radius of the sun, which means you could place almost 5 billion of our 867,000 mile wide suns inside the sphere of UV Scooty. I believe if you trust that, or the evolved monkey atheists who made it up, then you have every right to use your free will for that. Very brave choice. I'm sure God will be quite impressed. Lastly, I believe that God has a reward for those who enact God's will here on earth without the need of being told what to do and when to do it. Everyone will make mistakes, as truly no man is perfect. However, once the truth has been revealed to you and you recognize that voice inside you, it becomes your responsibility to choose the correct path. The correct path is always the path that is good and the path that is right. To pretend not to know the difference is to pretend that you were born without the Spirit of God, which is impossible, as no man can live unless God's Spirit dwells within them. I believe that to find out what is next, you must navigate this carnal world of lies and deception and recognize that the only truth is in you. The only thing true is in this physical world is you, and you are a piece of God. At the end of the road, you will realize that all truth lies within. That is the creed. Long, needs to be shortened, but I think it does a pretty good job of kind of outlining my thoughts. So let's get back to the phone lines. We got 2 calls. Let's go with 401. Oh, I lied. 319. Nope. Yeah, 319. I went to you first.
Jaren,
what up? Welcome to the show.
How's it going?
Good.
Hey, I don't know if you changed something, but on my YouTube, I've got a black screen.
Yeah, I'm putting something. I was reading something, so I wasn't looking at the screen.
Okay, for sure. Yeah, where'd you find that reading at?
I wrote it.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
That was awesome. That was awesome.
Well, thank you. So I just get high and sit on the couch and start writing.
Oh, it's awesome. But
Okay,
hey,
good,
this
you're back.
is Robert, curvature_nope from TikTok.
What up, Robert?
I had called a couple weeks ago, but yeah, I was just wondering if you guys had gotten any details on the next summit, online summit coming up.
Yeah, it's March 17th and 18th, but that's it right now. We're setting it up as we speak. We are changing the way we do it a little bit. I mean, prices are the same. Everything will be kind of the same, but we don't want to have to email people the links and things like that, so it's going to all be automated.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, can't wait for that summit.
Thank you. I'm excited about it myself. Oh my gosh, save your time.
You want to say something, Owen? Sorry, I've got my son with me.
All right.
He's enjoying the content.
Let's don't remind me that children are watching. I got to be careful now.
Nah, you're all good, dude. So, Owen, what do we live on? Yeah, absolutely.
What did he say?
Yeah, I like. I'm sorry.
I couldn't hear him. What did he say?
What'd you say, Owen?
Yes, we do. All right, good. I like it.
Absolutely.
That is correct.
And I like dropping that term, just calling it Earth, because there's no reason. I feel there's no reason to label anything. It's just Earth.
Yeah. Yep. I think that they've sold us on this whole material world, like thinking this is a material. Where does it exist? Oh, it's hanging in space, or it's like I don't even think any of that's important.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, it's too. I don't think we realize how magical this entire experience is. We've been really robbed of that.
Oh, definitely. And one thing I'd like to say is the fact that I don't think, well, I think everybody is intelligent enough to walk outside and determine what it is we live on.
I think so too. I think that that's why it really comes down to have you just given up your own inborn spirit, your own inborn conscience, and chosen to trust in the words of another man, in which case that's where I think that the folly is.
Oh, definitely. But yeah, I definitely got to promote. Find me on TikTok, curvature_nope. Definitely finding a following. And I've got to give props to Weiss for that the friend finder he has on his app.
It's pretty nice, huh?
I was able to get 20 referrals, so I was able to expand my ring out to 100 kilometers.
Oh.
My circumference, it went from 50 kilometers to, I think I had 37 people within the 50 kilometers, and I'm up to 127 now with 100 kilometers. And I'm just in small town Iowa. Like, I live in a town of population of less than 1,000. So it's pretty cool to be able to reach out that much further.
Yeah, that's awesome. Good.
It's great. Yeah, and I've been talking to a buddy of mine across the state, and we have an idea about doing an observation across the lake. But my issue is, what I'm finding is, no matter what kind of observation we do, the spinners are still going to deny it.
Yeah, I think it's better if we come up with some. So Austin and I are I think Austin's doing the challenge right now. Austin and I are going to bet Globers that we both think that if we put a Foucault pendulum at the equator, we think it'll drift, and their belief says it can't. So something like that would be huge, because how are they going to explain that?
Oh, absolutely.
So
has Witcher done more research into what's at the north?
Not that I know of.
Not yet. Okay. Because, yeah, like, I've been talking to my buddy about the toroidal field that Witcher touches on. And I just had one of the spinners come to me and make a comment about the magnetic dip or something like that. And I had never heard that term before. So I'm like, all right, let's Google.
Yeah.
So I went and looked at it, and I applied the information from that to the toroidal field, like what Witcher talks about, how it encompasses the entire Earth.
Right.
And I was like, oh, yeah, this kind of makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, no, that does make a lot of sense. I think that the ether science is going to come back around here pretty quick.
Yeah. Is Bob doing all right? Everything good with Bob?
Yep, he should be back this week, I believe. He should be back Sunday.
Awesome.
So.
All right, good to hear.
All right.
But I'm going to jump off here. I'll cut myself short, and, yep. I love to see the content and hear everybody's opinions.
All right, have a good one. Appreciate the call. Okay, we're gonna get to the
You
next
too,
call there.
Jared.
I just was gonna point out somebody in the chat here who said, where did I see it? Well, somebody says just because you can't understand the Trinity doesn't not mean it's not true. It's biblical. Yeah, I mean, we can say anything's biblical. What do you mean it's biblical? Where does God mention that he has a son or a Holy Spirit in the Old Testament? Where is there a mention of Trinity? God says he is the only God. There is no other but him. So again, you just have to think for yourself, like, wouldn't God say, oh, by the way, I am myself and my son? And why we make excuses for that book, I'll never understand it. Never get it. It's like people who make excuses for Romans 13 are like, oh, well, what he's talking about is if a government is doing God's work. It's like, no, it's not saying that. It says very clearly that all governments are placed there by God. To go against the government is to go against God. Then it says the government is there to do God's work and not to. So it's telling you what the government's there for. It's not telling. Why wouldn't it say, oh, if the government is going by God's rules, then they are placed there by God. If they're not doing God's rules, then they're not placed there by God. It doesn't say that. So you can't just infer things. But anyway, the other one that was weird was somebody says, it started out like the Apostles' Creed, yes. So yeah, so AIREM says, so does Jaren ever interact with his people in the chat anymore, or is it that paywalled also? I mean, what is paywalled? Are you watching this for free? I don't understand people's complaints. And how you want me to interact with the chat and the callers and the... Isn't it enough that I'm talking? Can't you can call in. Why don't you bring your complaints and call in? 888, it's on the screen. 698 flat. You can come ask me why there's a paywall. Or if there's a paywall, I'll say, aren't you listening to the show for free? Then is there a paywall? Okay, relax. So do we have to memorize the new creed? No, it's just mine. Again, Jeranism is my religion. Your religion would have its own creed. You should not have my creed. That would be weird. Let's go to the anonymous caller, whatever that means. Anonymous caller, you're on the air. What's up?
Hey, Jaren, how's it going?
Good.
I'll try and make everything quick. I've got a few things I think I'd love to see you guys cover on Globebusters.
Okay.
First off, though, I remember like 3 years ago you had a funny NASA shirt, and they sent you like a cease and desist.
Yeah.
Said, which shirt was that?
It said NASA going nowhere since 1958.
Oh, okay.
It was the same. I made it at the same time as my movie, so it came out with the movie. But yeah, they copyright complainted or something.
Oh, okay. So, I mean, is that one that we can get on your store now?
No, I'd have to find somebody who would print it. I'll have to look at redoing that shirt. It's a good idea.
Okay.
The problem was I had it with the
right.
Teespring, and Teespring shuts things down quick. But I've got some other sources now, so.
Okay. Well, I sent you a couple of quick little, like, 15-second videos that are funny on your Yahoo email. Maybe you can watch those after I'm off the line. But
they're funny for the show, you mean?
Pardon?
You mean they're funny for the show?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
I think people find them funny. From, like, young Sheldon. But I'm wondering if you've ever heard of this astronaut who, like, sabotaged, she's a female astronaut.
Yeah, the lesbian?
Sabotaged the ISS toilet and supposedly drilled a hole in the ISS. Because I've never seen it brought up on anybody's FE channel.
I think because we mostly think all the stories of astronauts is fake. But you're not talking about the lesbian one. You're talking about another one? I don't know.
I'm not sure if I don't recall if she was.
So
or not. All I know
astronaut
is, like, I think she was
drills
trying to
hole?
get home early. But supposedly she sabotaged the toilet, and so the Russians were only letting the men through to their side to use their toilet.
I don't know when it says earlier this year, Russian state-owned news agency TASS alleged that NASA astronaut Serena Anunan Chancellor became psychologically unstable after developing deep vein thrombosis, compelling her to drill a hole in the Soyuz capsule in the hopes of expediting the return home.
Yeah.
That's what it says.
Yeah, I don't know if you've ever heard of the channel. He's on Odyssey. I don't know what other outlets he's on. Blackpilled. He does a lot of great JQ content.
Right.
But he has an episode called Space Girl, and he actually thinks Effie is stupid, and it's actually kind of funny to listen to his reasoning on that. Actually, one of the things is he's like, one of their main guys is a wife, so that ought to tell you something. But
it's probably the one reason I doubt flat Earth. So.
Yeah. But anyway, that's a great episode. Some of that might, be something you could snip for Globebusters and just go through that, because I found it pretty interesting that anybody was saying somebody tried to drill a hole.
Well, I actually see a picture of the hole itself. It's very, very tiny. I don't.
Yeah.
It's like the size of like a BB. So I don't think
and then
that's what they would do. But
supposedly the Russian space agency put all their astronauts through a lie detector test to make sure they weren't lying about it.
Oh boy, can I get in charge of that lie detector test?
Yeah. But one of the other things that I've just never seen addressed is how is it that you can get those images of a star ring, of like a time lapse of the stars rotating in a perfect circle.
Right.
If you leave it on time lapse.
Right.
You can get that. You can just plop the camera down, and as long as Polaris is in the frame, you get that. Now, how do they get around that? How do Globers explain that that's the case because the Earth is spinning? Because if the Earth was spinning, you could only do that if you were perfectly pointed, like straight, dead on with Polaris in such a way that, do you know what I mean? It would.
I think that I've questioned that before, but I'd have to do it again. I think we bought a big globe and I put my GoPro camera on it and kind of spun it, and it kind of does do what they say. The part that doesn't work, I don't think, for them is they have a couple pictures of like somebody standing, let's say, a little bit north of the equator. And so in the picture, you can see the stars going one direction for the left, then you see the stars at the equator coming straight. But then in the other direction, you see the ones curving the other way. And I don't think that's possible, right? Because you're not on that part of the ball. So why would they start acting like curving a different direction in the south? So I'm not sure about that one. But I think that, the stars is a tough one for them as far as the time lapse. And, people get confused because they don't realize the time lapse would only be like a third of that, right? So all that's done with post-processing. Is it? And I actually think that some star trails are ovals, but we would never know that because the system is taught to make it a circle. But I think if we actually were to, let's say it stayed night for an entire day by some chance, that I think you would see elliptical star trails, like ovals, based on, and it would be more elongated the further you were from the middle point. So,
well, when you tried this on the globe, didn't you have to point the camera just right to get it to where Polaris didn't move?
Yes. When I had that's different than the stars, though, right? So on that one, I was trying to show that if you spun around, you wouldn't stay, because I can't believe it. Like, if everybody, I don't know, picture wherever you're at right now, picture where north is, and now picture you're outside your house or outside the room, and you're looking at the North Star. Mine's about 37 degrees ish. And just to think that in the course of a day, I stay here, obviously the house stays here, but really you supposedly went in a complete 360 around that North Star, which is just insanity. Like, what do you mean? I don't standing right. But that, I think even if people thought about that, they would realize it's folly.
Well, basically the way I imagine it is like, say to model this, you had like a 10-foot globe and you put a camera on it somewhere in the northern hemisphere of that globe, and you spun it around, and maybe you made the room a little bit foggy, to represent the direction your camera was pointed. You used a laser and you pointed it at a single point up in the ceiling, and let's say the ceiling was 20 feet in the air or something like that.
Uh-huh.
You spin this globe around, and in the fog, this laser would have to make a perfect cone that was pointed at whatever point you were modeling as Polaris. And so that doesn't jive with the fact that you can just point a camera anywhere, and as long as Polaris is in the frame, you're going to get those perfect star trails, and Polaris isn't going to move.
I just don't. I'm not sure how perfect they would be, but yes, because you're only seeing a third of them, right? I mean, we don't really have any. I mean, we might have some nights that are 12 and 12 where we get 12 hours of stars, but you're not going to get 24 hours, so you're not going to get a complete circle.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So yeah, that's.
okay.
I mean, that's something that I've never heard them explain in remotely satisfactory way. I've got another question about the southern stars, how that works. I mean, is there a southern Polaris that they claim?
They do. I mean, they say that there's a Sigma Octantis that you can't see, so it's just a blank area of the sky that the stars go around. But and I don't really know. I mean, there's some people who think it's a reflection of the north. There's like a lot of different theories on that. I'd have to go down there and actually look at it myself. But it also makes sense to me that in your dome, that if in your personal dome, if stars were sweeping from the east to the west and the dome is kind of coming down over in the south, that I could see in your personal atmospheric dome that those stars would rotate around a spot, and it would be a spot rather than a star. A star would be weird if there was a star there. But if it's just an empty spot, each person might be seeing that rendered in their dome at a different time.
Like say around Polaris, I don't know how many circumpolar constellations there are around Polaris.
A few.
But I'm assuming it's a very small number, and as you go out from Polaris, you can fit, like in each ring, concentric ring, you can fit more and more constellations. So I'm wondering, like, if that, whatever that south polar point that they're saying you can't see or whatever,
right?
The stars circling around that isn't a curiously like more constellations than that should be able to fit around the immediate ring around a south polar star.
Okay, yeah, I'm not sure about that.
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
Well, I just kind of, and like maybe it's like, wait, how is it that it's, not just the same 3 constellations circling around this point, but it's like 20 constellations, and I have to wait multiple nights to see them all. I don't know if that's what in fact happens, but
no, well, because all the stars go around once a day, so you would never have to wait multiple nights to see.
Okay, even in the south.
Even in the south, I mean, it's just like think of a clock hand, right? So the clock hand that goes around every hour. The part closest to the center still goes around once an hour, and the part at the end of the clock hand goes around once an hour, right? So even though the end of the clock hand has a much larger area to traverse.
Yeah, that's true. I guess I didn't consider that, but then in that case, then they would just be booking really fast. If it was in fact the stars on the outside.
Well, they'd still be moving 15 degrees an hour. I'm not sure you would notice that they're moving much faster. The way you would notice is at like sunset. So I've often said, and we never really had any volunteers, but if somebody in the north at say equal degree latitude to Australia, if somebody in the north filmed a sunset, say on June 21st, to actually film the sun setting and then film after that, just to see how much ambient light there is, how quickly does it get dark. For me, during the summer, the sun might set 8:30 here, and it doesn't get dark till 9:30, or it's like a good hour of twilight because the sun seems to be roping off to the left in a clockwise motion and stays relatively close because it's a closer circle. And then in the then what we need to do is in the south in Australia or the equal place, have them film a sunset, because from what I've heard, when that sun sets, it's gone and it's quickly black. And that would be very good evidence that the sun is racing faster in the south, right? So when it sets, it's moving. It's already going on a wider path, so it would get darker quicker.
Yeah, and I mean, I guess that's kind of what I'm thinking would be happening with the stars that you perceive towards the south as being the circumpolar south pole.
Well, they still would move. They still would move 15
booking.
degrees an hour, right? So it's still sweeping the same amount of area in the same amount of time. So it's kind of like, I don't think you would really notice that. The reason I say you notice the sun is because after the sun sets, if it's doing the inner circle, it's going to be closer to that spot, so we would have longer daylight. If it's in the outer circle, it's got farther to go, so you would have a quicker nightfall. Now with the stars, that's not going to do anything because it's not like a faster moving stars is going to cause something that I'll be able to notice, like a sun setting kind of deal.
Yeah. This stuff is all hard spatially to wrap your head around.
Yeah, it is, especially when you start getting onto the flat Earth theory, because then it's like some of that stuff hurts your head to think about it in a globe term.
Yeah, no, I really appreciate people like you who try and model this stuff in different visual ways.
Yeah, I mean, I try and explain it, but I also am not. I don't need to, right? Like I've talked about it before. When you're calling something out as a lie, saying it's a deception, there is no rule that says you have to have a replacement. It's another one of these psyops that Globers want to use. They want to say, well, what's your model? Tell me your model of the Earth. Where's your map of the Earth? Well, these guys are dipshits. They don't realize that it took them 500 years, the best mathematicians, the best physicists, the education system, reworking these numbers over and over again, dark matter, dark energy, all these things had to be used in order to come up with what they call a working model. And then they taught people, well, if anybody comes to something else, they better have all the answers, which is just ridiculous. We would never be able to have any of the answers like that. First of all, every coastline that's ever been mapped, every exploration that's been done, every ocean circumnavigation that's been done has all been funded by government. It's been funded by government, kings and queens, the monarchy. Never once has there been a private expedition with their, so what are flat earthers going to do? We're certainly not going to get government money. So how can we just go rent a boat and go down to Antarctica and go exploring? They make it sound like it's real easy to do, but of course the logistics behind that are ridiculous. Think about like high jump. You had Admiral Byrd and like 60 ships and the skidoos and the trucks and all the planes, and they have all this equipment to go there. So to think we can just do that is not really. And like I said before, if I find through my parents' drawers that I have a birth certificate or an adoption certificate that says I'm adopted, and I go and tell you guys, hey, look it looks like I'm adopted. I've got evidence that I'm adopted. And you guys say, well, who's your real family? I don't know. Be like, oh, we're not going to believe you then unless you have your real family. Like, what? I was lied to. What do you mean? How would I know my real family? I'm pointing out to you, I have evidence that I was lied to, and the Globers act like they don't need to hear that evidence. They're just going to keep continuing to believe that my family's my family until I find out who the replacement family is. And I think that's a little bit ridiculous.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's kind of like let's circumnavigate Antarctica. Well, according to our best knowledge, it would, legitimately take at even like 21 miles an hour on a cruise ship or something like that, 30 days, and would be legitimately difficult, I think. So.
Well, I mean, even the record holder for a sailboat is 100 days. So.
Yeah.
I mean, you're not moving very fast. I mean, that's going to take you forever. I mean, imagine going 100 days just to go around Antarctica. And you would need permission to do that because you'd probably need to carry fuel, which you're not allowed to do by the treaty.
Yeah. But
So-
imagine if you could get like a cruise ship, those hold like 5,000.
Yeah.
Charge $10,000, $20,000 a ticket. You could sell them all, and that's, what, 50, 100 million or something.
You're right. I mean, with a
And you
cruise
could
ship too, they can't move faster, right? So we would be able to. No, that's a good idea. I wonder if you can charter a cruise ship.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know, but
Because even if you were to be, you don't even need
a
it.
ticket. I think you could sell them all.
You don't even need to go all the way down south, right? You'd be still pretty good
Well, I
as
think
long
you'd
as.
want to keep Antarctica in view of the shoreline, right? Just so nobody could claim any monkey business.
Yeah, I think that, I mean, even if the ship did go up more, trying to get towards the center to get, it still has to go underneath Africa. It still has to go underneath Australia. It still needs to go underneath South America. So, but I get what you're saying. I don't know if that's as feasible as we might think, but maybe it is. I don't know if cruise ships
and
are.
I mean, 5,000 tickets. I mean, you could get people from all sides.
Yeah,
People
for
in the
sure.
middle.
But with all the sea ice down there, I'm not sure how far out that ice extends. But I don't think cruise ships can mow through. We could ask the Titanic. No, I'm just kidding. I don't think cruise ships though can mow through icebergs.
Yeah, probably not.
So, but again, I don't know.
Well,
I'm not a boat driver.
Yeah, I appreciate your time.
All right.
One last thing.
Yes.
Did you hear the Davos? I guess some of the people, the elites traveling to Davos, were demanding pilots who were jab free.
Yes, of course, I heard that. I heard that.
Beautiful.
All right. We will talk to you soon.
Well, I appreciate it.
All right, peace.
Yeah.
All right, we're going to take one last call here from the phone lines, and that's it. Nobody call in. The phone lines are closed. Who did I bring up? 505. Welcome to the show.
What up, Jaren?
What's good?
Can you hear me?
Yep. Yep.
Going on?
Same old thing. Another day, another dollar.
Chatting with- All right. I just got a couple thought experiments that I like to run by people. I'd like to get your opinion on them.
Okay.
Kind of fun.
Go ahead.
So, if you take a globe Earth, standard size, standard physics, and you hollowed it out, don't matter, mile diameter, 5 mile diameter.
Okay.
You put a person in the middle of that. Are they crushed to death? Are they ripped apart? Are they painted on the inside of that carved out sphere? What do you think happens with those physics?
I don't think any of that's even real. So I mean, I don't think that gravity pulls to the center. And again, that's like a paradox, right? I mean, because if you start falling towards the center, if you dug some hole in the ball Earth and you were to start falling towards the center, at some point you would have to flip around. But you would also, wouldn't you slow down as you're falling towards the center? I don't think you'd speed up, would you? Because the mass would actually be less as you got more towards the center. I know it's very confusing.
Yeah, no, that's exactly what.
Especially, think about it. If you're falling through a pipe, if you built a tunnel straight down to the earth and you started falling in it, at some point I would almost think that the mass around you, left and right, would be more than the mass towards the center. Like, wouldn't you then get pulled out? Yeah. It's crazy. The idea that mass attracts mass is such nonsense.
Tell them, carve out the middle of the sphere and then put yourself in there.
Right.
Does it pull you apart because that's where all the mass is at, or does it crush you? Do you just float in the middle?
Well, again, if you're talking about digging a tunnel all the way through a ball?
I'm just talking about not even a tunnel, just magically carve it out. There's a hole. Instead of there being a solid core or whatever they say there is, it's just a
you
cavern.
you cease to exist. You don't exist anymore if you do that. It's basically
you pop a person into that hole. What happens to them? Do they pull apart? Do they get crushed? Do they float in the middle? And what after I get done usually proposing that question, I tell them the reason it's stupid is because that's fake.
Yeah, it just makes no sense either, because you're like, if there's a hole in the middle, somebody stands in, there's no gravitational force on them, but then they're technically the force if they're the center. It's crazy.
Right.
Crazy beliefs.
Oh yeah. Okay. So thought experiment number 2.
Okay.
The space straw. You have a tube. Again, it don't matter if you want it to be a foot wide or 10 feet wide, whatever.
Okay.
But this goes up, say, 500 miles into the sky.
Okay. Well, everything would.
Pulled through that straw.
You would what?
Into the vacuum of space. You know what I mean? Would that thing just start trying to equalize and start sucking stuff up through it out into space, or you know what I mean?
Yeah, you couldn't suck through it. No way. Because think of straws work because you've got atmospheric pressure pushing on the liquid in the glass, right? So that's what pushes the liquid up the straw. And if you got a straw too big, then it's not going to do that anymore. And I believe that's even short. I mean, I don't think you can have a straw on Earth that's like 20 feet tall. I don't think that works. If it's 20 feet tall, I don't think you can suck through a straw. I could be wrong about that, but I'm pretty sure that wouldn't work. So what is the thought experiment supposed to show? You're talking about what is that point of that one?
So I'm just talking about if you were, because of there has to be a point where the vacuum starts, right?
Right. That's the easiest thing. I mean, this is what that guy I Can Science That had to basically admit that I was right about, is that it's always going to equalize with the vacuum around it. It has to, because there's always a spot of vacuum next to a spot with no vacuum, which means it has to equalize. So it would forever equalize until it ate up all the atmosphere on Earth. And if it was a container, maybe you could convince me that, well, no, the atmosphere at a certain point, you just are left with a gradient. But the problem with that is, of course, that's not possible if the system is open to the infinite vacuum of space, which is what they claim it is, right? Because they send rockets out there. So
that's the exact thought experiment. Is basically that straw that I'm talking about has to pass through that zone where it goes from where it's definitely in vacuum,
right,
all the way down to where there's a lot of pressure. So that's why I proposed that question.
Gotcha.
So if you were able to do that, and now you have like a barrier, would you create an endless?
Yes, that's kind of like
straw
the.
suck?
I'm not sure if you did. You hear me talk with I Can Science that about the gravity equation or the. Let me see if I bring this up for you real quick. So I talked to the guy I Can Science at the. Yeah, it was just recently. I talked to him on his channel, but he then emailed me the next day and basically said that he was wrong, that I was right about what I was saying. So this here, I'll draw this real quick. So, and this is, I think everybody should do this until we get word that somebody's figured out how to explain it. But if we just took and again, we can call it a vacuum chamber if we want, because that's easy for us to test if we wanted to, or we can just picture it being on Earth. Say this is on Earth, and we're open to the blackness of the vacuum. So if we had a tube like this, oh shit, I'm not gonna believe this. Here we go. Tube of, where can you see that? No, hold on 1 second. I gotta fix this. About there? That's good enough. So I need let's go black on the, no, not black on the outside. Let's go yellow. No, different color. Let's go light blue. All right. So if we had this, like you said, like a straw, but let's say it's a more of a container, right? And inside of that container is air. And again, let's say it's sealed. So it's a sealed container at the top. So we know the air is going to stay in there. And basically what they're saying is, well, this would be very few molecules. Going down would get more. Going down would get more. And then you would have all air down here, right? So that's basically like the Earth that we live in. Basically, you've got, they say, very few air molecules. Then you kind of got it packed on top of each other. And down here we got the 14.9. All right, so we got that. Now, if the top opened, so let's say that, remember this is vacuum, okay? And if this had a sealed top and we open the top, so now we open it, okay, then what would happen here? Well, again, this is where he was confused and I had to explain to him, like, well, he said, oh, well, it has to equalize right there. I'm like, okay, yeah, I get that. That's what it would do. So let's say that this little part here becomes vacuum now, right? But as we know, then there'll be a loose particle here. So then it has to equalize. Now you have vacuum here. And then you have particle here. Now it's got to equalize. Now you have vacuum. So this vacuum would just keep coming down until it overtook the whole container. And again, their excuse can either be, no, there's a gradient because there's a lot of weight here holding this down, right? Okay, it doesn't matter. It still has to equalize. So we know that's what would happen. The gas will always fill the space. And then even if we put a box down here on the Earth of just a little bit of air, right? That we know that if we open the top of that the air is going to go out. So you then kind of debunked all of space, all of the Earth, because this is what they claim is going on. They say that we have this giant ball Earth that, if we kind of draw like a, let me go back into here. We draw a quick sphere. And where's the circle tool? Here. Here. Okay, so you draw a quick circle. And let's make it blue. Blue. All right, so let's say this is the, let's see, is that going to work here? Hold on. Yeah, so let's say this is the Earth, and then we've got a atmospheric layer around it that's very small. You know, the atmosphere is going to be, it's tiny, teeny, teeny, tiny. Like this, would be way smaller than that. That would be like the ISS height. Maybe more like this. So we say that's the thick part of the atmosphere. And then we know that it's, they say it actually will go like this. Oops, too much. There we go. So it'd be like that, like a thinning out of the atmosphere into this ball. All right. So if this is what the atmosphere is like, you got your heavy atmosphere, your light atmosphere, would get lighter and lighter. Well, it's the same thing. This becomes the same as my tube experiment, meaning that if we have, where's the white? Here. So if we have a few, where's this other thing here? Sorry, Mike, gotta fix this. How many, still not showing me the size. Come on, 16, I've got like 2. All right, so if we're here, the same thing. This would be the very light pieces, and it would get heavier and heavier and heavier until we had air. So if that's the case, and this is vacuum. Well, as soon as vacuum is next to any kind of gas particles, it's going to equalize the pressure. So then it's there. But then there's little gas particles here. So then it equalizes there. Then there's little equalizes there. Then all this air goes up and goes to space, and then you have vacuum. So quickly, this entire vacuum would eat up the atmosphere of Earth. To believe that this is just flying through space, going around in circles, and that even though it's flying in through space, it's just not doing anything to the atmosphere. And then to believe that we're spinning and that this atmosphere is sticking with it. How? What is carrying the atmosphere? What is carrying it along? It doesn't work like you can't carry air along. Okay, that's not the way it works. Air is going to go where there's pressure. It doesn't respond to gravity. So their entire story is a fabrication. And I don't know how you explain it to them. If they want it to be true so bad, they're just going to make up things. Well, there's a gradient. Yeah, big deal. What are you talking about? That's our argument. We believe that it's possibly contained. And if it were contained, then you would have gas pressure higher at the surface because air weighs more than vacuum. And so you're going to have air that's going to be heading towards the ground, and it's going to accumulate. There's going to be more air heading towards the ground, so you're going to have a thick atmosphere, and that's going to kind of even out as it goes up. So it's not surprising to me. But I mean, it's not surprising that these guys won't admit it. It does throw a wrench in their whole system. But this right here debunks the possibility of the Earth being so do planes flying around. There's just no reason why, if the Earth is going this way, and you've got New York and you've got California, that if you left New York going this way with the Earth spinning underneath you this way, you would get there significantly sooner. And if you were going this way with the Earth spinning away from you, well, you'd never get there, but because the plane can't go that fast, but you would get there at a way longer time. But the actual truth is this flight is slower than this one. And the reason why is because we've got a left to right jet streams in both the north and the south, which makes no sense because it means that the air is moving faster than the spinning Earth. So when they tell us that there's 250 mile per hour high winds here, remember the Earth is already going this way at, let's say, 700 miles per hour. So if you're getting 250 mile per hour winds, it's on top of that, right? Which helps explain how long duration flights happen in the south, like Santiago to Sydney. Anyway, let's go back to see if we got anybody else on here. Don't save. All right, go ahead. Finish up for us.
Oh, what's up? So that was it. I just had a couple thought experiments there, like to get other people's opinions on them.
I like them. I think that I really like the equator with the pendulum because I have seen. I think for the most part pendulums do drift, but I think they tend to drift because of the ether, which is what Einstein thought, or else Einstein would have not said that there's no experiment that can prove the Earth's moving if he knew the Foucault's pendulum, which he did. That was he was way after that. So he obviously didn't use that for a reason, and the reason why is because once you go relativity, you can't say one or the other. So you can't say, just like you can't say the sun goes around the Earth or the Earth goes around the sun. From either perspective, it would look like the other is doing so. That's if you believe in relativity, which you can choose. I believe there is a standard frame of rest, and that is the Earth. So I don't need relativity. I have absolute space or absolute motion. All righty?
Yes, sir.
All right, thanks for calling. Appreciate it.
Have a good night.
You too. All right, let's go StreamYard, see if there's anybody there, and we will. Oh, my goodness. Why didn't anybody stop me? Feel so bad. Okay, well. If you guys get any calls, bill me. Let's go to the hop. And is there anybody here? There is. David Henry in the house. We got no more people because we got two more after that, Sacred Knowledge, and then Adam, and then let's end it there as we are already at our time. David, what's up? How are you?
Hey, how's your evening going?
Fantastic here, spending it with you. What could be any better?
Yeah, great. I had a doctor's appointment today, but everything's going fine.
All right, good. Don't let him put you in the hospital.
No, I've already been. In fact, I have full Parkinson's.
Oh, you do? You don't notice that?
Yeah. Full Parkinson's.
Doesn't look like it.
You seen Michael J. Fox, right?
No, well, he's acting, but anyway. But you're not. You look like you're fine.
Yeah, that was after a surgery done back in see, October last year.
Uh huh.
2 years ago. I'm sorry, 2 years ago. They drilled two holes in my skull. They put probes in, and basically, I have a battery right here.
Oh, geez.
Which activates the pulses. So they're voltage times current. And basically, my neurologist, she tweaked it out where, when I was done with surgery, I was still doing this. I could still, I was definitely. But after she tweaked it out, this is the results.
Wow.
Yeah.
You look like
It's
you're handling
called,
it well.
It's called DBS surgery. It's direct brain simulation surgery.
Huh.
It's
Never heard of it.
amazing. Yeah, it's amazing. It's not cheap. It costs about $500,000 to complete the surgery.
Holy smokes. Hopefully you
Yeah.
have insurance.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. And surgery definitely did it, and so I'm glad to be here.
We're happy you're here.
Yeah. I noticed you talked about the issue with the vacuum of space and how our atmosphere retains around the Earth. Of course, I had to, I've dealt with that over the years, talking to, globe heads about it. And of course, their whole deal is gravity. Gravity is what causes our atmosphere to stay
Right, but we
around the globe.
but we know that's not true because we could test that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. In fact, there's a very simple test. It's called a rainbow.
Okay.
Now, how's a rainbow created? Well,
Opposite of the sun.
in fact, if you Google physics equation for rainbows, can you see this on my screen?
I don't think you're sharing, but they're a joke.
Okay. Well, if you type in physics equation for rainbows, it'll come up with a equation.
Okay,
E equals 180 plus 2i minus 4r.
Okay.
And they show the refraction of the rainbow, and it's ridiculous what it takes to create a rainbow.
Right. I've never quite been happy with their ice crystal story.
Yeah. And in fact, they tell you how to create a rainbow. But notice if you do type that in, and notice that on the video that says you can create a rainbow outdoors. Pick any sunny area and turn your back towards the sun, and da.
Right, with a hose.
Right, and that creates the rainbow. Well, it's outdoors.
Yes.
So what does that mean? Well, we're still using the dome. The dome is still above your head, right?
Right.
So rainbow's going to be fully arced.
I thought I've seen somebody do one indoors. I can't remember now, though. Do you remember there being a video like 2 years ago of some guy doing it in his garage?
Right. In fact, if you look at that video again, look at the light source.
Right.
The light source comes out of it comes out of the dome.
Right, a bulb.
Look at the light source.
Okay, yeah, I think I remember that.
Yeah, it comes out of the dome. Well, I decided to go ahead and create my own rainbow indoors using a plexiglass dome.
Okay.
If you go to if you go to my TikTok video, dhenry777, that shows the rainbow video.
Okay.
It's less than 5 minutes if you want to show it, but yeah.
I might get back to it, but remind people of your channel name so they can check it out because we're just getting a little late time here.
Sure, yeah. So if they want to check it out, they can make their own rainbows indoors, and I can give this.
What did you use? A mirror?
Well, in fact, I used a. You heard of a laser disc?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And they're available. You can find them at flea markets.
Yeah.
And basically it's an outdated technology, but I find that's
Yes.
the best way to create the rainbow colors.
It's outdated, but there are some worth a lot of money, so be careful. Don't throw them away.
And so, yeah, you can make your own rainbows. Get you a good light source, bounce it off the dome that's created. The video will show a dome,
Right.
and you'll see a full rainbow.
Okay.
Now, if you try, ask any scientist or physics professor, create a rainbow indoors.
Right.
They're not going to be able to do it.
But you got the secret, which is the dome.
Which is the dome. It has to be the dome.
All right. Sounds good. Let me let you go. We've got
All right, sir.
Sacred Knowledge. I do see something in the chat. We've got Freight Train saying, I agree. The hat combo is awesome. I couldn't believe it fit me. Everyone get on the beanie and hat combo train. Yeah. Sorry. What's up, Sacred Knowledge?
Hello.
Yeah. What up?
Cracking. Yeah, I know what that dude's talking about.
Sorry. Go ahead.
I know what that guy's talking about because the shape of the rainbow, which is the prism of colors, is dependent on whatever it's reflecting off of. So if you could have a square thing and it wouldn't be arced. It would be shaped according to whatever it's reflecting off of.
I always wondered if how they break with the prism breaks the colors of the light up. I wonder if like the dome could be the prism.
That's what it is. That's exactly what it is.
Okay.
And another thing is trippy is like ever since I figured out what the sun really is, ever since I heard this explanation, that's all I see, and I think it's the best explanation. Basically, that what the dome is doing is basically okay. So in the morning and at night, in the morning you have this time called golden hour before the sun comes over the horizon,
right,
where it's totally lit, everything's lit, and Hollywood loves to film at that time because there's no shadows. So that proves that the sun isn't the source of the light. There's a lot of light anyway.
Right.
But what the dome is concentrating the light in one place, like a magnifying glass does.
And so that's what we see.
That's what the sun is. Yeah,
Yes.
the sun is just the focus of all that light.
Correct. That's what I believe
But
too.
and that it makes sense. That's what all I see when I see the sun. But that's interesting. I want to see his video. I want to see him actually create a small rainbow. That'd be cool.
Yeah, check out his TikTok. I wanted to check it out too. I'm just trying to think now. I wonder if we could ever figure out, like maybe since the sun moves around the earth, maybe the sun spots that we see are like marks on the dome. And the reason we think they're always different is because they just show us a new one but maybe we could find matching ones, like.
Do we really see those with like the regular
I've seen them before.
telescopes? You see them? Yeah.
I've seen it with my camera before. Yeah, the black spots on the sun.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I've seen them with my camera, the P900. So they're there. I mean, P900 pretty much reveals the four so-called moons of Jupiter, Saturn's rings.
There's no solar flares though. You can't see those.
No, I've never seen that. No, they say you can see it with a solar alpha telescope, but I've never seen that.
Yeah, they say a lot of things.
I think it's a good story.
All I see is something that's not really solid. It's just an optical illusion, kind of. You know what I mean? Create just like the rainbow is an optical illusion.
Correct. Yes, and the sun is separate for each person. It's a personal sun, which is crazy because it goes right along with Christianity. We each have a special relationship with the sun, right? The sun is the bringer of life. The sun walks on water, turns water into wine, moves 30 degrees. Just like Jesus started when he was 30. It's a whole bunch of connections there.
Yeah, but at the same time, it's still basically the same for all of us too. Like the way that it has effect on our lives and our bodies. It's the same. So it's
correct.
It's definitely was designed in a way that's beyond anything.
Right, and we should and that should be our sign of creation, right? It's kind of like in my creed, I said, that the signs of God are everywhere. You have to choose not to believe in what is clear. Right, because you have to just listen to somebody say, "Oh no, well God didn't create it; it just created itself out of nothing," and then you're like, "Okay, where do I sign up?"
Or though there is a good possibility that it wasn't; it's just always been. This is the outlet for existence. This form of it, in human form, could have just be like consciousness when it wants to manifest. This is a form. This is what it does. It just does it, and so this is what the only way that it could happen is if this was here.
Right.
So it could have always been and always will be, and it's just an illusion, because the real is when we leave and we go back to being pure consciousness.
Right.
That's
And
the
then
real
and that may not be real as in the sense that that's an infinite thing and this is finite. That might
Right.
make it real, but it's still to me this is a very real existence. It's like I don't think you wake up and realize this is a dream as much as you realize it was a mission or it was a test or it was a, you know, it's not necessarily like a dream.
It
Right.
could have been like something that you have to go through until you get enough knowledge, because
Correct.
that's what, you know. But
Or it could just
definitely-
be that, because I mean, again, I really like the idea. It makes sense to me that, because the one thing that bothers me so much is when Christians say God knows all things. If God knew everything, then he wouldn't exist. It'd be the worst existence ever. Imagine that you've created something that you know the outcome of everything that's happened. I mean, you don't exist. And this is the way they describe their God. He's all knowing. He's all present. If you're all knowing and you're all, then you're not. Then you're not. Then you don't exist. Why would you exist if you knew everything that would happen from here to the end of time? It's just
it's something much more just ineffable and natural than, it's something that doesn't have to think. It just does it. When it wants to
Right.
be a miracle and give you grace, it does it.
right.
Consciousness.
It doesn't
just-
doubt. It doesn't think. It doesn't contemplate, because
Exactly.
it is the
perfect.
It is perfect.
It's already perfect.
Right.
You know?
But I think
Hey.
that if you then said that God wanted to experience things other than that, it couldn't, because it only knows good. It only knows God's will. So it couldn't. So the only way for it to experience anything outside of perfect holiness would be to separate itself into individual pieces and then say, I'm going to give each individual piece free will. At that point, it's the three-body problem of space. God can't determine what would happen. He gave people free will. And if people have free will, it's an indeterminable amount of possible outcomes. So that to me erases the idea that God knows everything. Now, God could still say, at any point, I'll end this all, right? I'm going to let it go. And then at any point, if I feel like I need to end it, I'll end it. That's fine. You can do that. But as far as saying he knows the outcome, this is why I think they lie and tell people in the Bible, oh, he knows the outcome. He's going to come back and win. He's going to save you guys. And they know that that's not the case. They're just going to keep running control over this place as long as they can until either we win or it gets taken away.
This reality consists of a bunch of carrots on sticks that they dangle to keep us moving and producing energy. So it's like,
Yeah.
What really we need to realize is that there's nothing to be done, and that we are already perfection, and start from there, move from
That's a good
there.
point.
You know?
I think
But
that the thing that we need to do is people need to come together. I do believe that the God spirit inside of us strengthens the more people that get together. So I've said before, if we all showed up in Africa at the same time in one country, all the people on earth, that the dome would open and God would say, congratulations, you've all won the game. You know, that maybe not exactly like that, but I'm still saying that we would be able to do anything. So I think like the pyramids may have been powered by people going inside there or something like that, like as a group. Like I just look at everything. Sporting events are definitely proof that there's something special
look at-
about multiple people being in the same place.
Amphitheater is the first word in there is amp, like voltage.
Yeah.
Amps, you know, amphitheater.
Yeah.
You know, but I just want to say one thing. When the gurus talk about how this is not reality, and what they're saying is that if it wavers, if it changes, it's not the real reality. The true reality is unwavering, and it's a state of pure bliss that doesn't change. So everything kind of like tapers down from there until you reach this level, which was a very dense physical level. But
Right.
at the highest level, it's a oneness that it never changes. It's crazy. And you can achieve that state through a lot of meditation, but that's what they're talking about. You want to get to that state because there's no lies.
Nirvana, right. Enlightenment.
In this reality, you can be lied to, but when you reach yourself, the real self,
Right. I almost think
no-
rather than the higher self, it's the inner self, because that you only can lie to yourself at that point.
there is no lies and there's no concepts.
Right.
It's just it's what we really are. So that's what they're talking about.
Yeah, I think that we're all that piece of God that is just nothing but bliss, eternal bliss. But I do look at it and I say, if God was that, then he couldn't do anything else. Like he can't look at Earth and be like, I want to go to Earth and do stuff.
Right.
What are you going to do? And there's no,
But
there's
he
nothing.
can. But he can. It's weird. It's like is and isn't at the same time. That's God.
Well, I think that's why in an infinite wisdom to think, oh, what if I separate myself into
Right.
because beings can't exist without God's wanting them to exist, right? So he kind of said, okay, and then they give them each free will, and then they can go down, and then whatever they do, I'm seeing. Then think of everything that God's experiencing. So every crime, every rape, every act of forgiveness, every anything you can imagine includes God's is experiencing that through the eyes. Like we're built in the image of God. We are acting out many billions of roles at one time. And now and then I hate the thing I can't stand is when they'll come to me and they'll say, "Oh, now Jaren wants to be God." Like, no, I'm one person. I'm just me. I'm not everybody.
I like how the Hindus talk about God as the Brahman.
Right.
Brahman is the word that describes that which cannot be described with words.
Right.
And so they look at. I like how they talk about it as the whole of existence being God, not just like we're looking at individual things. Have you ever looked at just the entirety of what you experience? That is,
it's all God.
As that is God. So like
yes.
as a whole, one moving entity. That's what
correct.
it is.
That's why I say the earth doesn't exist somewhere. It exists in the mind of God.
Exactly.
So I mean, there's no place for that to exist. And then I believe that God had to come out of a timeless place in order to create the earth, because the earth can only be created in time. Just like you can only have birth and death and suffering in time. There is none of that in the infinite. It would be there's no beginning, there's no end, there's no anything other than just pure good. All right, I'll let you go get to the last guy.
Can I say one last thing?
You may.
It's almost like it got bored, so I had to do something. Eternity
totally
got bored. It's like I had to do something.
Yeah, what else would you do?
Before we go, I want to say one thing. I found one good new channel for melted mountains or melted buildings.
Okay.
And people, it's really good. It's a lady. She got a channel called Fruit Kiss, Frutkis, Fruit Kiss, Frutkis, and it's just a new melted mountains or melted buildings channel that's got some good, cool visuals to check out.
Sounds great.
All right.
Peace. Sorry to make you wait, Adam. I know it's been a while. How are you, my friend?
It's all good, man. Pretty good, man. First time calling in.
Welcome.
And, I just wanted to suggest, I guess, I know the summit's coming up, right?
Yeah.
I mentioned it to Austin. I was talking to him one day on the Discord, and he told me to send him a DM on there, but he confirmed if he got it, so I was going to run it up to you. But
okay.
Have you heard of Dr. Bear?
Dr. Who?
Bear Paul Lando from Alpha Vedic.
No. Alpha Vedic is the name of the. Okay, please. You sent.
Yeah.
Okay. Got it.
Yeah. He kind of is vibing with what Sacred Knowledge was just saying, and apparently him and his co-host Mike Winter are flat earthers as well. And if you could play it at the 1:33:10 seconds mark, he starts talking about the Earth being the inertial plane and the toroidal fields. That's his belief and how.
Oh, I just saw this guy the other day. That's crazy. I saw this guy the other day. I was wondering who the hell he was. Okay.
He's amazing, man. It's like kind of reminds me if Austin was maybe twice as old or something,
All right, we'll check it out. Anything else you want to say?
That was pretty much it. I'd like for you guys to reach out to him and try to get him on to the next summit.
Okay.
I think it would be incredible, definitely beneficial to the summit and everybody watching.
Sounds great. I'll reach out to him.
Thank you, man.
All right, we'll listen to that. Thanks so much. All right, here we go. Let's watch this.
Now in the age of transmutation, and that's what they're trying to keep from us. We no longer need to mine raw materials out of the ground.
Kind of begins to
all we have
feel
to
about the aether, but I try to narrow it down to something quick.
So what did you say to go to? What?
I said 1:33:10 seconds.
Oh, did I go too far?
He's talking about the aether as a transmuting utility, how it creates.
And then how long do you want to listen to this for?
The physicality of the earth, right? Because so we have this toroidal field with the inertial plane in the middle, but like how does that become physical? And he's able to break that down.
Okay.
How that's possible.
Sounds good. How long should we listen to it for?
Like a minute.
Okay. Thanks. I appreciate you calling.
No problem, man. Thanks for having me.
Okay, let's hear it out.
We're going to do one on alchemy of law, because really that's where we all need to be going. We all need to be alchemists. And then we're basically science is magic. Like science is just the really materialistic perception of what magic is, but we live in a magical realm. And Bear, would you say then the ether is this connective framework between all of this, or what is like
it's a transmitting utility, and if you don't know there's a transmitting utility, how can you use it? And if you know the intricacies of how that works in these different electronic levels, then you can not only use it, but you can reproduce it with predictable results to create different things. You can create waveforms that then are the very waveforms that create all the different elements in the first place. We live right now in the age of transmutation, and that's what they're trying to keep from us. We no longer need to mine raw materials out of the ground. All we have to do is reproduce the waveform for any element, throw it into a 3D printer kind of operation, and we can set up an assembly line and create physical matter, hybrids of different physical elements, anything we want to create in any kind of form to create all the technologies, the machinery, the vehicles, and there's no need to take a damn thing out of the ground, and it can all be done inexpensively.
I want to do it.
And distribute it for everybody.
I want to do it. So I'm in, dude. I'm so, so let me just do this. So if I throw a baseball, right? I throw a baseball. Is the space between the air and the baseball the ether?
There's no space.
Is there time? Because we just the last guy said that you can't travel through time, but you can send a message through time. In the ether, can you go through time?
Yes. Well, the person to really understand a lot of this is Walter Russell. If you ever want to do some good studies, and he's like the father of waveform mechanics.
So that's good to listen to. I'll put that in the chat, and then I'll put it in t.me/Jeranism links if you're interested in the rest of that program. And I'll just check the chat real quick here and say thank you to the super chats. So if you got something to say to me, make sure you put @Jeranism YouTube so I see it. I'm going to hang up on the phone lines. Let's get out of here. Later. Let's hang up. Let's hang up. Let's get out of here. All right. Leave. Okay. And we've got, did I show up on the Flat Earth show thing here? Let's see, streams. All right, now I'm there. They picked it up. All right, good. Let's watch myself on the internet. This would be fun. Does it work? There I am. Yep. Let's get out of here. All right. Sweet. So that is, if you want to check that out, flatearthtvguide.com. It lets you check who's currently live. If you want to watch the greatest basketball player of all time, you might think you need to find Michael Jordan or Kobe Bryant, but nope. You just got to look at this school right here.
To take away from this.
And this guy here is one of the greatest players ever.
Exactly. It was easy. It was too easy.
It's too easy for him to play basketball.
The gumption it takes to be able to say, I'm going to go out and do that. Who has that kind of confidence?
Me. But his mother Whitney says it's not just confidence, it's stubbornness. Fortunately, though, Josiah turned out to be pretty good.
Stop saying he's pretty good. He would get... Oh my goodness.
On his merits.
And stop saying he gets rebounds. If that guy got a rebound over me, I'd quit life. Okay? Quit life right now. It's very nice that they can have him as an honorary player, but do not tell me that he's the best player on the team. He's a star player. Do not tell me that he looks like Steph Curry's in the gym. Okay? We don't just tell lies and then post them on here. Anywho, what else do we have here? Please get a hat. Get a hat, get a hat, get a hat. The beanie, the combo, the Flex Fit. Do it today if you'd be so kind. We have not done sales as much as I thought. I'm many away from breaking even. So it was not the best move. I probably will not do that ever again. It's a little bit scary. So we'll just keep pushing it. And if you want me to stop talking about it, buy them. Otherwise I have to keep saying every week. But I do appreciate you guys being here. my good quality people. I appreciate you kind of working with me, bearing with me as I get through this kind of changeover, going to these often shows and where I'm going to put the content, because I know people are upset, but they just don't really understand that if you put out stuff for free, then people just take it for free. And then I can't do this if that's the case. And then somebody told me the other day, why don't you get a part-time job? And then it's like, okay, listen, there's nobody who really does this part-time. You kind of need to do it full-time. But I would be fine if I even tried to get a job and they won't hire me. So that's because of what's online. So the day that I do have to get a job, I'll have to remove everything from online. That's the only way I'll be able to get a job. So I don't want it to come to that. I enjoy what I'm doing, but I've got to find that happy medium between, again, if I made $5,000 a month, I would never mention money ever. I wouldn't need to. I wouldn't need to sell hats. I wouldn't need to sell USBs. I wouldn't need to have sponsors and do my Cash App and all that. I wouldn't have to do any of that. But the fact is, I do have to do that. So it sucks. I don't want to do it. It's the worst part of everything I do. It's the absolute thing that bothers me more than anything, trying to figure out how do I do this? Because again, I would love to say, oh, here, let's sign up here. And then if I start making enough, then I'll make everything free again. The problem with that is the second I make everything free, everybody stops paying. So then you're back to where you were. So it's a very delicate balance. You've got everybody out there saying, I want free stuff. I want free stuff. Truth should be free. I agree, but it's not the way life works, unfortunately. I wish that it did, but it did not. And if you haven't noticed, I've been trying everything from 2 years ago, from consultations to USBs, to libraries, to Telegram libraries, to merchandise, to hats, to you name it. It's not been real easy, but crypto's. So, I've had maybe 2 crypto consultations in 2 months because people don't buy when it's low. It's the time they should buy, but they won't. And you watch, if crypto hits a big upkick, then people will start flying in. Let's see what else we got. I think that's it. And I was going to check the chat over here. Thank you for the super chats. I did have it up. Where did that go? Oh, here we go. Let me refresh this. Make sure there's anybody new. We had $10 New Zealand from Pacau MacGyver, and there was no message. Then we've got Daniel Woodle. Said, hey, Jaren, been out of the game for a few weeks. Not that I was a big fan. What? That's nice of you. But what happened to Ranty? Oh, okay. Sorry, I told you that. Ranty, he had one photograph that he said changed his whole mind, even though he's got hundreds of hours of footage of him proving the flat earth and showing that the globe is impossible. It all it took was one picture. That makes sense. I buy it. And then he went on Simon Dan's podcast and blew him, and then blew Conspiracy Cats. It was disgusting. So I never watched him again. All right, let's go up here. Oh, real quick. I see people writing my name. We've got this person. Much love, Jaren. I love that piece you wrote. Thank you, Angela. Very kind of you. True Video. Oh, there he is. Thanks for the shout out, Jaren. Please. Oh, it's you? What? Well, that site's beautiful, bro. I don't want to say it's nicer than your channel's list, but it is. So nice job. Please share it with everyone. Your channel and videos are available on the site. Well, we went there when I started and it wasn't on there, just so you know. So if you go back to the beginning of the show, we checked on it because I thought it was going to be there playing live, but it wasn't there. So just letting you know. See if there's anything else here. You can even use the link for your shows and all good stuff, trying to help everyone but get more views to learn the truth. What? Oh, okay. Got you. Dude, use Printful. Yeah, but I don't know if you know that you make nothing. Like Teespring, I make like $2 a shirt or sweater. So like once every couple months, I'll go on there and send $60 to myself. So I'm not, I guess $60 is good every couple months, but save the turtles. Yes. See what else we got. Rob Glow says, Jaren, you wouldn't have to delete everything. I just got a marketing job interview and they know I sell a flat earth watch. Just got lucky probably, but yeah. What? Okay, well, I didn't get hired for a job I was way overqualified for that was online chat rep, where people wouldn't even have known my name. So, and I'm not sure what you mean. Do you think that me and you, if somebody searches my name and searches your name, would be the same amount of material? I hope you don't think that. I love my Jeranism hoodie and t-shirt, and y'all should get one. Very comfortable. Thank you very much, Angela. We've got Sarah, who said, damn, everyone going to be calling me now. Shake my head. Yes. Let's see if we got anything else here. You can adjust the price on Printful. Yeah. So what do you mean? I mean, then mark it way up to where it's out of the realm of. I mean, I'll check it out, but those kind of things are kind of not very good money, right? So I mean, to sell the hats that I did, to get the price that I got on these hats, I had to order 144 of each of them, right? So then you get the price real low, and then if you sell them and you do the inventory and you do the shipping, that's how you make profit. If you have somebody else print them and have somebody else ship them, I can't even imagine the price I would have to charge for a hat to make more than $2 profit. But I'll look into it. Could someone link FETV guide? It's FETV guide, GUIDE.com. Wait, or is it Flat Earth? No, it's Flat Earth TV Guide. .com. Sorry, I screwed that one up. Reminder, I do love all you flurfs. See you soon. Thank you, Weatherhelm. We love you too. I think we need to start a heliocentric model debate channel because that's the model that needs to be debated and Flat Earth is the default. Good idea, Bass Accords. We've got Rob Glow again. Same amount or not, same type of content. Peace, brother. 30. Same amount or not? What do you mean? That okay, I don't know what you mean. 35 is a lot for a hat on Printful. Lots of profit. Peace, brother. 35 is a lot for a hat on Printful. I'll check it, but I guarantee you they don't have free shipping. So I don't know what you mean. So you're saying I could sell hats for less than 35 with free shipping and make more profit than I'm making? Well, all my profit is after the 100th hat. So keep walking your path. Oh, wait. That's not going to happen. You're doing exactly what you're supposed to. Thank you. I was felt more on spot than the job interview I went to today. This was fun. It's both. Oh, it's both. Okay. FETVguide.com and flatearthtvguide.com. Great. Post anything too. Thank you very much. Says thanks for putting me on to Brother Sanchez. Yeah, he's cool. He's fun to listen to. See if we got anything else. But it's okay. I get it. Everybody's got complaints, and yeah, I could always try and get a job and then see how it goes. But I was shocked I didn't get one because I needed to do it in last January. I just got lucky that right after that happened is when Jeff Berwick announced my name and the consultation thing took off and kept me busy for 3 months. So if it wasn't for that January, I was looking to work for Exodus, the wallet, and I did an interview and I did a test, and they were like, "Oh, you aced the test," and "Oh, you're so good." They were like loving me, and it was 4 days a week, $60,000 a year in Bitcoin, and 4 days a week, 8-hour days. I was like, okay, this is great. I can do that and probably still have time to do some of this stuff. Went through all the interviews, and they're like, okay, we just have to do a final meeting with the team, and we'll call you. And then they didn't call me for like a week, and then I wrote to them, and they said, "Oh yeah, we decided to go another direction." I'm like, wait a second, you told me I aced everything. That what do you mean? Why would you go in a different direction? She's like, well, really, come down to your other internet activities, which is the exact same wording from Venmo, the exact same wording from Amazon, the exact same wording from PayPal. They all get you on other internet activities, or off Venmo activity, or off Patreon activity, or off PayPal activity. It's just a joke. It's just a way of silencing dissent and promoting those who shill space and stuff like that. And you're not going to find anybody who's lying about space to get their stuff shut down. In fact, they'll make a ton of money. And they can even put up videos like we've seen on YouTube that say live from space. This is a space live feed. And it's not. It's just them lying. Or playing a 10-minute clip in just perpetuity, just keeps going over and over again for like 36-hour live streams. I mean, we couldn't get away with that. Not for a second. I can't put anything in my song anything in my videos without it getting copyrighted. Anything. And these guys are just getting away with murder. So, again, I don't even like to talk about it. It's not fun. It's the worst part of all this. And I do have some ideas. So, will they make people happy? I don't know. We will see how it goes. But we are just probably about a week away from some of that stuff popping out. And we'll see how that goes. But for now, the deal is try and watch the show live. If you do, you can catch it for free here or on Rokfin. If you cannot watch it live, then it's $5 a month at YouTube to become a member. And you get access to those past shows. Now, I can't guarantee that because like tonight's show is fine. Tonight's show will be left on. But for instance, what was the show I did? The NASA Comedy Hour, right? Got blocked in some countries. So if you have Rokfin, which is $15 a month, and you get everybody there. So there's like 35 of us creators that are, truth creators or whatever. But you're paying that to everybody. So I appreciate that. We'll take little bits we can get from that, and especially if you sign up under my name through rockfin.com/Jeranism. But then you get all the content because it doesn't matter what got pulled from YouTube. It stays on Rokfin. But it's more expensive. It's $15. For $5 a month, you can be at YouTube. The only problem is some things happen. Like if we went hard on the hack scene, Jim Duggan, then I would have to pull that after the YouTube stream. So if I pull it, then it stays at Rokfin. Then I pull a Larry Silverstein. And so it's kind of like a little dance we have to do. But I'm going to do some things soon. You're going to be able to listen to podcasts of every single show. So you'll be able to download MP3s. All the videos will be in one location. So it's going to be better for everyone. But again, the hard part is I would love to just say, hey, I'm going to charge for this content until I reach $5,000 a month. At that point, I'll make it all free again for everybody. But the problem is, as soon as I do that, then everybody who's paying will stop. And it will go back down to nothing. And then I have to charge for the stuff. So you can't win. You can't win by just saying, oh, if I make this much, then everything can be free. Well, that's great. But as soon as you make everything free, nobody's going to pay you anything. That's just the way it goes. Talk to anybody who's a merchandiser at all. I mean, I talked to somebody who does jewelry sales, and they're like telling me, oh, well, it's an art. What you do is an art and you shouldn't charge for it and people should just donate. I'm like, yeah, okay. That's easy to say. I said, but it'd be like me telling you to take your jewelry to a jewelry show and spread it all over the table and say free with tip. I said, at the end of that jewelry show, every piece of jewelry you have will be taken and there'll be $25 in the tip box. And then you'll realize, oh, that's not a very good model for things that take time and effort to do, right? So somebody who takes time and effort to build jewelry, they need to put a price tag on it that recuperates their time and effort. And I look at this the same way, or else I just can't do it. And there's a reason why there's nobody who really does this like part-time. Think about it. Who does this kind of stuff part-time? It really doesn't work that way. It's like the people who do this and do it well, do it full-time or attempt to. And that's really all there is. And then if you have people saying truth should be free, then look at who actually makes it. Alex Jones made it big because he sells boner pills. Who else? So it's not the best category to be in. Plus your channel doesn't grow. My channel would grow so fast if it was back to 2015 where everything got put into recommended. I think people would like the show. I think people would enjoy the content. I think it would wake a lot of people up. The problem is I'm not allowed to be in shared anymore or up next or recommended. So the only way my show grows at all is if you guys share it. And I think if we all took an inventory right now of everybody in the chat, how many people shared a link to today's show, the answer would be a very, very low percentage, like 1 or 2%. So if there's 100 people in chat and only 2 people shared the show, then the chances of me getting any more views is literally 0. And so I'm happy that I don't care about views so much, but it is a marker of some interesting things going on. There's channels, I'm not going to say their names because you guys know who I'm talking about. Terrible channels, dirtbag channels with dirtbag fake content that are liars that are getting way more views than me that have way less subs. So it just means the kind of content people are looking for. People want sensationalism. They want people to lie to their face, I guess. I don't really know what other reason there would be, but hundreds of dollars in super chats plus 10, 12, 15,000 a live stream watching. I don't get those kind of numbers anymore at all. So again, it's just kind of an indicator of what we're dealing with. But I do think my content is worth a little bit to people that are enjoying it. There's a lot of content, especially I'm doing a lot of shows now. When the Monday show comes out, it'll be 6 shows weekly, right? So if you don't know the schedule, it's 3:00 on Thursdays for Speaker's Corner, 3:00 on Fridays. This is all Pacific time with the Jeranism show. 3:00 on Saturday with Iconoclasm, which is the religious show, the breaking of idols, the smashing of cathedrals. We've got Sunday at 12 noon for Glowbusters. Monday at 3:00, the podcast will start coming out. There's already 2 episodes done. It's just the site's not done where the podcast will live. Tuesdays at 3 o'clock is a comedy hour or interview. And then Wednesday is my only day off. So, which usually will end up being some sort of podcast. I mean, some sort of consultation. So I'm busy. I'm trying to do it, giving it that full court press and manifesting what I want to exist. So we'll see if it works. But so far, the affirmations that I do every morning have taken 3 of the big issues out of my life. So I can't say they don't work. I suggest you do it. What did I do? Write down 10 things that you think you need to improve on. Out of those 10, choose the top 3 that you'd like to correct. Speak them in, or write them down first in positive statements that never are futuristic, but are current. So, for instance, I was being constantly late for all my shows. So I made one of them, I am on time for all my shows. That's one of my affirmations. Then the other 2, did those 2. So then every morning when I'm brushing my teeth, my alarm goes off, brushing my teeth, I pull up those affirmations. I don't anymore. Why? Because they're memorized. So once you just saying those to yourself every day over and over again, it somehow, whether it's just reminding yourself, because again, that's the hard thing to determine. Is it the manifesting or me just being on time? Well, that's hard to say. I tried to be on time before, but it didn't work. But once you start saying that and it's a part of what you're doing, then every day I just know that I have to be ready to start getting ready for the show. Whereas before, maybe I wasn't thinking about it, or, oh, this came up, or, okay, the wife wants to, get a ride, that kind of thing. So you just kind of put everything else first. And when you start doing those affirmations, it just refocuses what's important, what you're trying to get done. So I suggest you guys do the same. Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't know you guys were just looking at that the whole time. That was rude of me. Sorry about that. I thought you guys were looking at the other screen. All right. And then we go check the Rokfin, see if there's any tips there that I can say thank you for. But tomorrow's Baby Truther show. Tomorrow's Jeranism show should be great. I've got some stuff planned. And where is the Rokfin? Thank you very much for the $20 in chat revenue or tips. Let's see who we got here. We got Shad Fox, $5. Thank you very much. We got Harmon, $5. Thank you very much. We got Ashley Knopp. Thank you very much, Ashley. You didn't start the train? Oh, Ashley didn't start the train. And we got Matt Prince, $5. Much love, Jaren. Everyone get the hat beanie combo. High quality, great combo starters. I agree. I think that they were awesome to wear to Mrs. Family. They're like, I thought you didn't like Nest. I thought you had a problem with Nest. It's like, read carefully. Oh, yes. So I believe that is it. One more time, just because I like that song, Bodies. We're going to listen to that on the way out of here. And where did I see it? Did I see it over here somewhere? Bro Sanchez is on right now. Bro Sanchez is on. What else did we say? Something else is on. But anyway, we'll check that out. All right. It's been fun. I remind you guys, as always, to do your own research. When you do, you'll never again believe all the bullshit you've been taught. Till tomorrow, 3 o'clock Pacific time. You want to bet if I will be on time? Because I'll tell you, I absolutely will. And that's the bottom line, because Stone Cold said so. Till next time, this has been Jeranism. Peace.
My goodness, look at all the bodies. This is what they wanted, dropping bodies. Every time I turn the TV on, they dropping bodies. Chicago ain't got nothing on these bodies. They dropping left and right. We try to tell you about these bodies. Hey, we try to tell you about these bodies, but you didn't want to listen about these bodies. And now you might be dropping like a body. Bodies. This is what they wanted. Take a look at all the bodies. I know they'll try to ban me after this song. Y'all reminded me of Rocket Man. Call y'all Kim Jong with all the propaganda. Take a story, get your twist on. The people saying it's safe and effective, man, y'all been wrong. What's the body count? Buckle up, gon' be a rocky mount. While people dropping, y'all just talking in the coffee lounge. I see people mocking, tell it's you up on that soggy ground. Man, look who talking, man, you rocking with the Nazis now? First they take the guns, then make you comply with the mandates. You gon' rip it from my dead hands, ain't no band-aid. Ain't dying from your juice, I didn't take it. Ain't in a trans state, you can't have this body. Pure blood, that's my campaign. Bodies. This is what they wanted, dropping bodies. Every time I turn the TV on, they dropping bodies. Chicago ain't got nothing on these bodies. They dropping left and right. We try to tell you about these bodies. Hey, we try to tell you about these bodies, but you didn't want to listen about these bodies. And now you might be dropping like a body, cause this is what Now sit back and watch me roll. All of a sudden, bodies dropping by the dozen. Now you buzzing. Let me guess, now you gon' blame it on the Russians. See your cousin drop. She was healthy, she didn't have the muffin top. They got you to take the poke, you only had a sudden cough. Crazy, they dumb me down when they come around, and now you pushing up daisies. Put the guard down for a card, you let them poke you with the gravy. Now you watching sports, and bodies dropping all over the court. Bodies. This is what they wanted, dropping bodies. Every time I turn the TV on, they dropping bodies. Chicago ain't got nothing on these bodies. They dropping left and right, we try to tell you about these bodies. Hey, we try to tell you about these bodies. But you didn't want to listen about these bodies. And now you might be dropping like a body. Cause this is what they wanted, take a look at all the bodies.
I don't mean to brag, I don't care, but I want you to know, double vaxxed, booster, flu shot, never got COVID, clearly, Jesus loves me the most. Seriously. So nice, so nice.
Bodies. This is what they wanted, dropping bodies. Every time I turn the TV on, they dropping bodies.